Chapter 213. Su Chen didn't hesitate. He got out of the car and glanced at the building. "You three come down." "Su Chen, is there someone upstairs?" Wu Yang maintained his usual vigilance as he walked to Su Chen and asked. "It's okay, just 3 ordinary people." Su Chen replied. Knowing that it was just 3 ordinary people, Wu Yang didn't ask any more and continued to dig for energy stones. The 3 people in the small building, upon hearing Su Chen's shout, their bodies trembled. The big-eyed boy's mouth trembled. "Captain, what should we do? He seems to be calling us?" The yellow-skinned man gritted his teeth. "Let's go down and take a look. If it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, it can't be avoided. Since they have been discovered, if they continue to hide, it is likely to anger the other party." Soon, the yellow-skinned man and the other 2 climbed down from upstairs. "Seniors, we are just hiding from the zombies here. We have absolutely no other intentions. Please don't misunderstand," the yellow-skinned man said in fear and trepidation. Sure, Duo couldn't help but chuckle. She was only 7 years old, but she became a senior in the other party's eyes. It was really funny. "Look at how scared you are. I'm not a zombie." Seeing that the other party was trembling as if he was scared, Su Chen shook his head. Then his eyes fell on the big-eyed boy and asked, "What's your name?" "Senior, my name is Zhou Yun." The big-eyed boy quivered and hurriedly replied. "Zhou Yun, do you have a star-gathering stone on you?" Su Chen looked at Zhou Yun and asked. Zhou Yun froze for a moment. He had never heard of the name star-gathering stone, but he did have a piece of ore on him. He took it out and said, "Senior, is it this ore?" Zhou Yun took out a thumb-sized stone. It was pitch black and the surface was emitting a little starlight. At first glance, it was an extraordinary item. Su Chen's eyes lit up and said to Zhou Yun, "Let me see." Zhou Yun trotted forward and presented it with both hands. Su Chen took it and looked at it, then returned to the intelligent war chariot. Zhou Yun and the other 2 didn't dare to move. They stood there stiffly. "Satoshi, is this a star-gathering stone?" Su Chen communicated with the intelligent war chariot as soon as he got on the chariot. "Yes, master." Su Chen's face lit up with joy. "How many star-gathering stones do I need to upgrade the attack power of the magnetic storm electric net?" "I need about 20 pills." Su Chen nodded slightly, got out of the car, and came to Zhou Yun's side. "Zhou Yun, where did you find this ore?" 1 piece of star congregation stone was not enough for him to level up. He needed to find more. "I picked it up in a river near our rocky mound," Zhou Yun replied truthfully. "There should be a lot of these ores, right?" Su Chen suddenly moved and probed. Zhou Ran shook her head. "There used to be a lot, but they were all dug up by the fire wolves. Even the ones we picked up in the past were snatched away by them." Hearing this, Su Chen gradually narrowed his eyes. The fire wolf gathering ground that Zhou Yun had mentioned was a place where he had snatched away the star congregation stone. This meant that the fire wolf gathering ground was a gathering ground similar to that of bandits. This was undoubtedly easy for Su Chen to deal with. Since they could rob others, others could naturally rob them. "How many star-gathering stones do you have in your rocky mound?" Su Chen asked after calming down. "The fire wolves will ask us for ores every month. If we can't hand them over, they will kill us, so we only have this one on me," Zhou Yun said with a sad face. Chapter 214. After figuring out what was going on, Su Chen called out, "Captain Wu, get in the car." Yang Hao ran forward and asked in confusion, "Chen Ge, don't you want the energy stones?" Although they were all ordinary energy stones, there were still more than 500 left. It was still a considerable amount of wealth. If he didn't want them, wouldn't it be a waste? Su Chen blinked. "There's something better waiting for us." How could ordinary energy stones be compared to the star-gathering stone? Of course, he had to get the star-gathering stone first. Yang Hao replied with an "oh," and did not ask any more questions. He turned around and got into the car. After the others got into the car one after another, Su Chen said to Zhou Yun and the other 2, "You guys get in too." Although Zhou Yun and the other 2 were a little reluctant, they did not dare to disobey Su Chen's order. They followed suit and got into the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, search for the location of the fire wolves' gathering place. Let's go immediately, Suchin ordered. The upgraded, intelligent war chariot had a detection range of 100 kilometers. In addition, it was integrated with the map of the mysterious heavenly continent. It was easy to lock onto the fire wolves' gathering place. Yes. The intelligent war chariot ignited and sped in a direction. When Zhou Yun and the other two saw that the intelligent war chariot could not only speak human language but also drive itself, they were deeply shocked. After the intelligent war chariot drove for more than 10 minutes, the sallow man walked to Su Chen's side and asked tentatively, "Senior, why are we going to the fire wolves' gathering place?" Ever since they got into the car, Su Chen had not told him the reason, which made him a little worried. "Of course, we're going to rob them." A meaningful smile appeared on the corner of Su Chen's mouth as he explained, "If they can rob others, we can rob them too." Hearing this, the sallow man's expression changed drastically. He said anxiously, "Senior, you must think twice." It was true that Su Chen's small team was very strong. However, if they were to rob a gathering place, they would be overestimating their abilities. If Su Chen and the others went by themselves, it would have nothing to do with him. But the key point was that they were also tied to this boat. Once they provoked the fire wolf gathering place, the outcome of the three of them could be imagined. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said unconcernedly, "Is the strength of the fire wolf gathering place very strong?" The yellow-skinned man hurriedly said, "Not only do they have evolved humans, but they also have magic psychics. There are a total of 20 of them, and their leader, Yan Quan, is a powerful level 2 evolved human." After saying that, he quietly sized up Su Chen. Originally, he thought that if he revealed the strength of the fire wolves' gathering place, he would be able to make Su Chen be a little wary and get rid of the idea of heading to the fire wolves' gathering place. However, he noticed that Su Chen's expression was composed from the beginning until the end, and there was even contempt on his face as if he didn't take the gathering place of the fire wolves seriously at all. What was going on? Could it be that he was also a level 2 evolutionary? But at such a young age, it was impossible, right? The yellow-skinned man was a little confused. For a moment, he couldn't understand, so he looked at the others. What entered his eyes was a relaxed face. Even the 7 or 8-year-old girl had a trace of disdain. Why aren't they afraid at all? The yellow-skinned man was deeply puzzled. Su Chen glanced at the yellow-skinned man and knew what he was worried about. He smiled and comforted him, "Don't worry, there are only benefits and no disadvantages if you follow me." "I hope so." The yellow-skinned man secretly sighed. At this moment, they were also considered to be helpless and could only take one step at a time. As for the outcome, it was up to the heavens. Chapter 215. The intelligent war chariot speed was maximized. After traveling for more than an hour, they arrived in front of a city that was about the same size as the Tianan colony. "Senior, this is the Fire Wolf colony," the yellow-skinned man said with a solemn expression. He seemed to have thought of what would happen next, and his emotions were in a mess. Su Chen glanced at the city gate. At this moment, there were not only a few guards, but also many civilians going in and out. When the intelligent war chariot appeared, it immediately attracted their attention and they pointed at it from time to time. "Let's go down and take a look." Su Chen stood up from his seat and was the first to get out of the chariot. Yang Hao and the other two liked to be lively, so naturally, they would not miss this opportunity and followed closely behind Su Chen. Tan Lin and the other two girls also got out of the chariot while talking and laughing. "The three of you, let's go." Wu Yang saw that Zhou Yun and the other two were a little stunned, so he reminded them. The yellow-skinned man gritted his teeth, looked at Zhou Yun and the other two, and sighed. "Let's go." Originally, he did not want to get out of the chariot, because if he got out of the chariot, he would have to face the people of the Fire Wolf colony, and he would undoubtedly be in the eye of the storm. However, the other party had already spoken, and if he did not do as he was told, he might be killed on the spot. When Su Chen and the others walked towards the city gate, it immediately caused a lot of whispers. Most of the discussion was about Tan Lin and Yang Qian. After all, they were both first-class beauties, so naturally, they would attract more attention. "Gentlemen, what are you doing in our fire wolf colony?" When Su Chen and the others approached, a guard in front of them asked. He had been guarding the city gate for many years, so he was very familiar with the people in the colony. Su Chen and the others were unfamiliar faces, so they were obviously not their people. Facing a group of people of unknown origin, he had to be 120% alert. Just as Su Chen was about to speak, a burly middle-aged man with a rough face walked out of the city gate. When he saw Zhou Yun and the other two, he suddenly raised his eyebrows, then his gaze fell on the yellow-skinned man, and he chuckled. "Chen Tong, did you pick up an ore? You took the initiative to deliver it to me?" Chen Tong's expression changed drastically when he saw the burly man. He stammered, "Captain Fong, we're not here to deliver the ore." "If you're not here to deliver the ores, then what the hell are you doing here?" The burly man's eyes widened as he cursed. Chen Tong suddenly felt his entire body turn cold. He looked at Su Chen as if asking for help. "Who is this guy?" Su Chen asked in a low voice. "Senior, his name is Fong Bin. He's the one who often goes to our place to steal ores." Chen Tong was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound. Instead, it was Zhou Yun who reminded him. Su Chen nodded and looked at Fong Bin. At the same time, Fong Bin was also sizing up Su Chen and the others. When he saw Tan Lin and Yang Qian, his eyes suddenly filled with a fiery look. "So beautiful!" Fong Bin swallowed his saliva and walked forward. As he walked, he said, "Chen Tong, the ores can wait, but I'm taking these two women with me." "No, Captain Fong." Chen Tong was very anxious. Su Chen and the others were all evolvers. If Fong Bin dared to be presumptuous, a fight would definitely break out. When the time came, they would be implicated as well. "F***, you son of a bitch. Who are you to say no to the people I like?" Fong Bin scolded angrily. In the territory of the Fire Wolf Gathering Grounds, even if the Heavenly King himself came, he would still snatch Tan Lin and Yang Qian, these two beautiful women. Tan Lin and Yang Qian's faces were filled with anger. The two of them looked at each other and took out their pulse pistols at the same time. Just as they were about to shoot Fong Bin, Su Chen's eyes flashed coldly. As he released his psychic power, he said to Chao Ran, "Chao Ran, gouge out his dog eyes." Chapter 216. Chao Ran had wanted to do this for a long time. When Su Chen gave the order, that the netherworld dagger in his hand suddenly disappeared. When Fong Bin was excitedly walking forward, he suddenly realized that his whole body seemed to be imprisoned by something, and he couldn't move at all. Before he could react, a dagger with cold light suddenly appeared in front of him. Then, with two pops, his eyes turned into two bloody holes. "My eyes." Fong Bin's face was covered in blood, and he looked ferocious as he let out a heart-wrenching scream. Su Chen snorted coldly and gave Sherdaniu a look. "Daniu, kill him." Sherdaniu rushed forward with a sky hammer and smashed it down on Fong Bin. Bang! Fong Bin's huge body suddenly turned into a pile of minced meat. Hiss! The onlookers at the city gate all sucked in a breath of cold air. It happened too suddenly, and by the time they reacted, Fong Bin had already died tragically in front of them. Chen Tong was so scared that his scalp was about to explode, and his heart sank to the bottom. Fong Bin wasn't an ordinary person, but the nephew of Fong Chengwu, the leader of the Fire Wolf colony. How could Fong Chengwu let them go when he was killed in front of his own home? With Fong Chengwu's ruthless way of doing things, not only would they die, but they would also implicate the people at the Rocky Mound. He didn't care if others were implicated, but his family was still there. What should we do? Chen Tong's face was extremely ugly, and his mind was spinning. At the same time, there was a commotion at the city gate. The onlookers gathered in twos and threes to discuss. Oh my God! Poor they. They even dared to kill Fong Bin. Are they tired of living? Lower your voice. They even dared to kill Fong Bin. If they hear you, be careful of your life. What's there to be afraid of? Do you think Boss Fong will let them go? That's right. Boss Fong is a level 2 evolver. He will definitely avenge Fong Bin. After the guards looked at each other, one of them rushed into the city. Another guard grasped a saber and pointed it at Su Chen as he angrily rebuked, "Audacious madman, you actually dare to behave atrociously in my firewolf gathering grounds? Quickly surrender." Su Chen looked at him as if he was looking at an idiot. He seriously wondered if there was something wrong with this guard's brain. The fact that Fang Bin was killed so easily proved that they had evolved humans on their side. "You are just a small guard. Where did you get the courage to question an evolved being? You can't blame others for wanting to die." Su Chen snorted coldly and didn't bother being polite with him. His spiritual force instantly oppressed the guard's body. The next moment, a strange scene appeared. Amidst the crackling sounds of bones breaking, this guard was crushed into a pile of meat paste in the blink of an eye, ending up in the same state as Fang Bin. *CK. How did he die? I don't know, it's too strange. It's too scary. The inexplicable death of the guard impacted the minds of everyone present, causing them to be extremely terrified. "Who is it? Who dares to kill Fang Bin's nephew? I'll tear him to shreds." At this moment, another angry roar came from within the city. Then, a figure the size of a small mountain rushed towards the city gate. Before the person arrived, a huge wave of pressure rushed over first. The pressure made the onlookers at the city gate unable to breathe, and they all dodged. Chapter 217. Chief Fang, it's them. They killed Captain Fang. Chen Tong's face was gloomy. When he saw Fang Chengwu rushing over with a group of experts, he ran up without hesitation and pointed at Su Chen and the others. The other person who was with him also ran over. The only one who didn't move was Zhou Yun. Zhou Yun's face suddenly changed. He yelled at Chen Tong, "Captain, what are you doing?" Chen Tong's action was tantamount to betraying them, which made Zhou Yun despise and angry. Su Chen didn't say anything, but his face was as gloomy as water. He had saved Chen Tong's life. If they didn't hurry over, Chen Tong and the other two would definitely be trapped by zombies. Chen Tong, on the other hand, didn't know how to be grateful, and even made a false countercharge. "Zhou Yun, what are you doing? Get your ass over here." Seeing Zhou Yun standing still, Chen Tong yelled at him. Chen Tong did that because he felt that although Su Chen and the others were all evolvers, they were definitely no match for Fang Bin and the others. If he didn't choose a side early, he might not be able to escape death. "Captain, you're stupid." Zhou Yun was so angry that the corners of his mouth were trembling. Su Chen was obviously here to help them, but Chen Tong chose to stand on Fang Chengwu's side. What was the difference between him and a treacherous villain? Although he didn't think that Su Chen could be a match for Fang Chengwu, he wouldn't be a villain like Chen Tong, even if he had to die. Fang Chengwu was an old man with a rougher face than Fang Bin. His body was like an iron tower, comparable to Sherdaniu. At the moment, his face was gloomy. He glanced at Chen Tong, then at Su Chen and the others. He said harshly, "Who killed Fang Bin? Come out and face your death." "Grandpa did it. What do you want?" Sherdaniu took a step forward and snorted coldly. He had been with Su Chen for a long time, and his character had been changing imperceptibly. He was no longer as timid and fearful as before. Instead, he had become even more unyielding, confident, and even a little arrogant. Has this kid been enlightened? Su Chen glanced at Sherdaniu, rubbed his nose, and muttered to himself. He still remembered clearly that Sherdaniu had been a little timid when he killed Qin Lang in King Kong City. In the blink of an eye, he already dared to take the initiative to stand out and confront the powerhouses. It had to be said that Sherdaniu had changed a lot. However, this was what Su Chen wanted to see. Because in this post-apocalyptic world, if you blindly choose to retreat, you would only be at the mercy of others. Only by displaying one's formidable strength would one be able to strike fear into the hearts of these rascals. "Brat, you're King courting death." A fierce-looking young man next to Fang Chengwu licked his lips and rushed toward Sherdaniu with a machete in his hand. This was the best time to show off. As long as he killed Sherdaniu, he would leave a good impression on Fang Chengwu. As a result, his status in the Fire Wolf gathering place would also rise. Without saying a word, Sherdaniu raised the heaven-reaching hammer and smashed it down on the young man's head. When the machete and the hammer collided, there was a cracking sound. The young man's machete was smashed into several pieces. Oh no! The young man was scared out of his wits. He let go of the machete and tried to run back. However, Sherdaniu's hammer was extremely powerful. As it smashed the machete, it pressed down on the young man. There was a loud bang. The young man had no time to dodge. He was hit by the hammer and was sent flying. Chapter 218. In fact, Sherdaniu and the young man were both level 1 evolvers, and their strength was about the same. However, Sherdaniu was strong and could crush his opponent in terms of strength. In addition, the sky hammer was an item dropped from the fragment. It was equivalent to a divine weapon and weighed 380 kilograms. It was reasonable for it to be able to smash the young man's saber and send him flying. This guy is so strong. Is he a level 2 evolver? The onlookers were inexplicably frightened and began to discuss again. It could be said that the impact of Sherdaniu's hammer was far greater than that of the death of Fong Bin and the guard. After all, Fong Bin and the guard were ordinary people, but the young man was a level 1 evolver. Even so, he was still sent flying by the hammer, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. It could be seen how strong Sherdaniu was. Fong Qingwu's expression changed, but it was immediately replaced by a touch of ruthlessness. He could see that Sherdaniu was only a level 1 evolver. So what if he was stronger than an ordinary level 1 evolver? He was a level 2 evolver, enough to crush any level 1 evolver. Arrogant. Fong Qingwu was furious. He clenched his fist and rushed toward Sherdaniu, vowing to kill him with one punch. The other level 1 evolvers of the Fire Wolves also moved at this moment. Surrounding Sherdaniu knew that he was no match for so many strong people. However, he didn't choose to retreat. He gritted his teeth and held the sky hammer, ready to fight. However, at this moment, Suchen spoke, "Daniu, step back." Sherdaniu would not be a match for a level 2 evolver, let alone a group of people. He was worried that Sherdaniu would be at a disadvantage, so he decided to take action himself. When Sherdaniu retreated, Suchen raised his hand and shot out a wind blade. Wind blade technique. Fong Qingwu was frightened when he sensed the terrifying magic fluctuations contained in the wind blade. He took out a saber from his waist without hesitation and blocked in front of him. The others also held their weapons and slashed at the wind blades. Their reaction wasn't slow, and they were very experienced in dealing with it. However, there was one thing that they absolutely did not expect. Su Chen's windblade was a level 3 spell. How could they block it? In the next moment, a series of cracking sounds could be heard. The weapons of Fong Qingwu and the others, including their bodies, were all cut in half. Level 3 spell. He's a level 3 spellcaster. Such a thought popped up in Fong Qingwu's mind. Then, his consciousness became blurry until he died. Following the death of Fong Qingwu and the others, the entire city gate fell into a strange silence. The onlookers didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Moreover, their minds were in a mess, like a pile of paste. One strike, just one strike, easily killed a level 2 evolver and several level 1 evolvers. His powerful strength was undoubtedly revealed. How terrifying! Obviously, Su Chen's strength was completely beyond their imagination. Everyone's heart was shrouded in a deep layer of fear. Chen Tong swallowed his saliva with difficulty. His face was extremely ugly, and his intestines were turning green with regret. If he had known that Su Chen was so powerful, he wouldn't have stood on Fong Qingwu's side. Now that Fong Qingwu had died on the spot, he had lost his backing. It was easy to imagine what would happen to him. However, he didn't want to die. Plop. Chen Tong knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing to Su Chen. He shouted, "Senior, I was muddle-headed. Please be merciful and spare my life." In order to survive, he no longer cared about his old face. Chapter 219. Su Chen coldly glanced at him and punched from afar. A strong gust of wind blew past, directly smashing Chen Tong and the other person on the rocky mound into a bloody mess, dying on the spot. A fence-sitter like Chen Tong was a scourge if he was left alive. Of course, he had to get rid of the weeds by the roots to prevent future troubles. After killing Chen Tong, Su Chen swept his gaze across the battlefield. No one dared to look him in the eye. Who is the vice leader of the Fire Wolves mercenaries? Step forward. Su Chen raised his voice and asked after looking around. After a long time, no one dared to step forward. Senior, you've already killed the 2 deputy leaders, Zhou Yun reminded. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned. The Fire Wolves' gathering place was like a pack of dragons without a leader, so who could he ask for the Star Congregation Stone from? Could it be that he had to search for it himself? This was too troublesome and a waste of time. After pondering for a while, Su Chen spoke again. Who among you is an evolver? Step forward. If you hide anything from me, don't blame me for being impolite. As soon as these words were spoken, 3 people in the crowd could no longer remain calm. They looked at each other, then stepped forward and said respectfully to Su Chen, Senior, we are all level 1 evolvers. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, Are there only 3 evolvers in the Fire Wolf gathering place? Before coming here, he had heard from Qin Tong that there were 20 evolvers and magicians in the Fire Wolf gathering place. Even if he killed some of them, he couldn't let only 3 of them remain. A middle-aged man in a gray robe hurriedly replied, Senior, 2 of them went out on a mission, and a few went to Tongtian City in Yulin District. Sky Connect City? Su Chen pondered for a moment before asking, What's your relationship with Sky Connect City? He had quite a bit of history with Heaven Connect City, and he had killed quite a few people from Heaven Connect City. We only have a trade relationship with Heaven Connect City. Did they buy all the ores we produce here? The gray-robed man replied in a trembling voice. The ore you mentioned, is it this? Su Chen took out the Star Congregation Stone and placed it in his hand. He was now a little worried. If Clear Heaven City bought all the Star Congregation Stones, wouldn't this trip be in vain? Yes, it's this kind of ore. The gray-clothed man hurriedly nodded. Su Chen frowned and probed, Then does your Fire Wolf settlement have any more of these ores? There are still some, but very few. How many? Su Chen asked anxiously. The gray-clothed man thought for a moment and replied, About 20 pieces. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief. More than 20 pieces were enough to upgrade the magnetic storm grid of the intelligent chariot. Bring all the ores over right now. Be quick, Su Chen said as he stared at the gray-clothed man. Yes. The gray-robed man turned around and ran into the city. After the gray-clothed man left, Su Chen stared at the remaining 2 evolvers and asked, How many ores did you sell to Sky Connect City? Since the Star Congregation Stone was used to upgrade the magnetic storm grid, he naturally wouldn't miss it. If Sky Connect City obtained a lot, he would have to make a trip to Sky Connect City. About 1,000 pieces, one of them bowed and replied. So many. Su Chen raised an eyebrow. 1,000 pieces was enough to tempt him. At this moment, he decided to make a trip to Sky Connect City. After waiting for a while, the gray-clothed man hurriedly ran back. When he came to Su Chen's side, he directly handed a cloth bag to Su Chen and said, Senior, all the ores are inside. Not a single piece is left out. Chapter 220. Su Chen released his mental power and scanned the bag. He found a total of 27 star-gathering stones, and the corner of his mouth rose slightly. He then asked, What's your name? I'm Fengzhi. The man in gray cupped his hands. Su Chen sized him up and said loudly, From today onwards, you are the new leader of the Fire Wolf gathering place. Fengzhi was stunned. Su Chen then looked at the other 2 evolvers. The 2 of you are the deputy leaders. Thank you, Senior. The 2 of them were pleasantly surprised and kept thanking Su Chen. Although Su Chen was not a member of the Fire Wolf gathering place, logically speaking, he did not have the right to appoint the leader and deputy leader. However, in the apocalypse, whoever had the hardest fist had the right to speak. Su Chen's strength was unparalleled. His words were enough to deter anyone, and no one dared to refute him. Senior, I, Fengzhi, will follow Senior's lead in the future. Fengzhi recovered and said excitedly. Becoming the leader of the gathering place meant that he had unlimited power. Everyone had to listen to him. In the past, he did not even dare to think about it. Now, Su Chen gave him a chance. At this moment, He was extremely respectful and grateful to Su Chen. Su Chen waved his hand and pulled Zhou Yun to his side. Zhou Yun is also my friend. I'll leave him in your care in the future. If anything goes wrong, he. Speaking up to this point, he stopped, but the meaning was self-evident. Feng Zhi's expression froze, and he hurriedly promised, Senior, don't worry. If anything happens to Zhou Yun, you can hold me accountable. Su Chen nodded. I'll come back to take a look when I have time. Although the words were short, the meaning was not simple. It carried a hidden warning. It could be considered that he helped Zhou Yun again before he left. As soon as he finished speaking, he led everyone into the car and left the base where the waves of fire gathered. When the intelligent war chariot disappeared from sight, the crowd at the city gate breathed a sigh of relief. Even Feng Zhi and the other two heaved sighs of relief. On the intelligent war chariot, Zhou Yun looked at Su Chen in a daze and said sincerely, Senior, thank you. Su Chen's words meant that no one would dare to humiliate him in the future. Even the people at the Rocky Mound would benefit a lot from it. Don't worry about it. Su Chen smiled. The reason why he wanted to help Zhou Yun was because of the Star Congregation Stone. Then there was the affirmation of Zhou Yun's previous performance. Even when Qin Tong and the other two switched sides to Fang Qingguo, he still resolutely stood on his side. Just based on this, it was worth Su Chen helping him once. The Rocky Mound was on the route to Etion City, so it was just right to send Zhou Yun back. When they arrived near the Rocky Mound, Zhou Yun got out of the car. Before he left, Su Chen gave him a bottle of Level 1 Constitution Potion. Although the Level 1 Constitution Potion was precious, he still had a lot on him. The others were all evolved people, so it was not useful to keep it. On the other hand, he always felt that he had some fate with Zhou Yun, so he would give him an opportunity. After watching Su Chen leave, Zhou Yun glanced at the glass bottle in his hand, then raised his head and drank it without hesitation. When Su Chen gave him the Level 1 Constitution Potion, he did not tell him its effect. Zhou Yun did not know what it was for, but he believed that something given by a senior like Su Chen would definitely not be bad. Not long after he drank it, Zhou Yun's eyes suddenly lit up, and he muttered, Evolved person. Then he knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times in the direction Su Chen left. He secretly swore in his heart that if he had the chance, he would repay Su Chen's great kindness. Chapter 221. After leaving the Rocky Mound, the intelligent war chariot went straight to Etion City. Su Chen took out the star-gathering stone. After upgrading the magnetic storm grid, he communicated with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, how many star-gathering stones do I need to upgrade the magnetic storm grid? I need 200 star-gathering stones, the intelligent war chariot replied. Su Chen pondered. Tongtian City took away 1,000 star-gathering stones. Even if it was consumed, there would still be 200 left. In this way, the star-gathering stones needed for the next upgrade of the magnetic storm grid would be settled. After that, Su Chen looked at the central control screen again and began to look for the whereabouts of zombies and mutant beasts. Soon he found a group of about 300 zombies about 100 kilometers away from him. Originally, he didn't care about such a small group of zombies. However, this group of zombies happened to be on the way, and there was no need to change direction. He decided to kill them along the way. Satoshi, lock onto this group of zombies and drive over, Su Chen ordered. Roger that. The intelligent war chariot sped away at full speed. An hour later, the intelligent war chariot caught up with the group of zombies. Su Chen personally took action and killed the group of zombies in an instant. After picking up the fragments and digging up the energy stones, the intelligent war chariot continued on its way. During this period, they encountered several groups of zombies in succession. However, the number of zombies was not large. The largest group was only about 500 zombies. They were all killed by Su Chen and the others one by one. In addition to obtaining a large number of energy stones, Su Chen's energy points had once again exceeded 2,000. The harvest was quite good. The next day, it was still the same as usual. If they encountered a group of zombies, they would stop and hunt. If they didn't encounter any, they would continue to move towards Etion City. At noon, the intelligent war chariot slowly drove into an abandoned town. Su-chin had nothing to do, so he glanced at the central control screen. When he saw a black and a blue light spot on the central control screen, his eyes suddenly lit up. The blue dot represented humans. He didn't care at all. However, the black dots were different. They represented creatures of other races. Su-chin had encountered two alien creatures before. The first was a blood plant, and the second was a night demon woman. It could be said that he had gained a lot from these two times. After killing the blood plant, 10 fragments and a demonic core were dropped, which enabled the intelligent war chariot to activate its self-repair function. From the woman from the Night Demon clan, he learned about the 5 superclans, which gave him a clear understanding of the situation in this world. He was quite surprised and excited to be able to encounter another foreign race being. Satoshi, stop the car near this black spot, Su-chin instructed. Yes, master. The intelligent war chariot changed its route and headed straight for the black spot. 10 minutes later, after passing through several streets, the intelligent chariot stopped in front of a residential building. Su-chin glanced outside and found that the residential building had 5 floors and was well preserved. The central control screen showed that the black and blue dots were in a room on the 5th floor. Chin-gu, did you find zombies? Young-hawat. The intelligent war chariot wouldn't stop for no reason. Once it stopped, it meant that there were zombies nearby. It's not zombies. Su-chin shook his head and then said, wait in the car. I'll go out and take care of something. As soon as he finished speaking, he opened the car door and got out. He walked straight to the residential building. In the blink of an eye, he entered the corridor and disappeared. Chapter 222. The corridor was dark and quiet, and it was filled with a strange aura. Su-chin glanced at it, but did not care much, and stepped on the stairs to the 5th floor. A minute later, he came to a room on the 5th floor and stopped. Previously, through the observation on the control screen, the blue and black dots were in this room. Then, he released his spiritual power, ready to explore the situation inside. Unexpectedly, as soon as he released his mental power, he sensed another wave of mental power. There is a spirit reader. Su-chin's eyelids jumped. The number of spirit readers is very small. Since transmigrating to this world, this is the first time he has encountered a spirit reader. Although Tan Lin and Yang Qian are also spirit readers, but they are too weak, directly ignored by him. But the spiritual power coming from the room is very strong. It seems to have reached the level of a level 3 spirit reader. To be able to meet a level 3 spirit reader, Su-chin is quite surprised. Intuition tells him that the level 3 spirit reader in the room is very likely to be the alien creature. Thinking of this, he did not continue to explore, lifted his foot and kicked the door. Just as the door was about to shatter into pieces, an invisible force came crashing down on him. Sure enough, it is a level 3 spirit reader. Su-chin sneered, releasing his spiritual power to block this huge force outside of his body. Because both of them are level 3 spirit readers, their spiritual power is also between the same level, temporarily in a stalemate. You are also a level 3 spirit reader. At this moment, a man suddenly exclaimed in the room. Su-chin glanced around the room. When he saw the situation inside, he raised his eyebrows slightly. He saw, in the room, in addition to a white-haired, sage-like old man, there is also an unknown green plant. This plant is more than half a meter tall, growing in a flower pot. The trunk is the thickness of an arm, on top of which there are 10 green fruits. Each of them exudes a strong breath of life, making people feel refreshed and full of vitality. What is more strange is that in the center of the trunk, there is a human face. It looks like an old man. Demon plant. Su-chin muttered. The blood plant he had encountered earlier also had a human face, so he assumed that it was a demonic plant. Kid, who are you? Why have you barged into my territory? The white-haired old man in the room sized up Su-chin and questioned him with a grave expression. In his eyes, Su-chin was very young, but his spiritual power was very strong. He was not below him at all. It was very likely that he was also a level 3 spirit reader master. Such a young level 3 spirit reader master, he couldn't help but be somewhat afraid. Looks like you're the level 3 spirit reader master. Suchin narrowed his eyes and said lightly. Originally, he had thought that the alien creature was a level 3 telekinesis master, but obviously he had guessed wrong. The human elder in front of him was only a level 3 spirit reader master. Kid, what are you trying to do? Seeing that Suchin was not afraid and did not take him seriously, the white-haired old man was a little angry. Old man, where did you get that demonic plant from? Suchin asked with a smile. You know about demonic plants? The white-haired old man's expression turned serious, a hint of murderous intent quietly appearing on his face. Demonic plants belonged to the alien species, and very few people knew about them. The demonic plant in the room was the best of the best, and it was very important to him. He would never allow anyone to spy on it. Chapter 223. Kid, leave this place immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The white-haired old man threatened. Without knowing Suchin's actual strength, he decided to use peaceful means before resorting to force. There were people who threatened me like you, but they were all crushed to death by me. Suchin's mouth twitched slightly as he sneered. The white-haired old man was a true level 3 spirit reader. In the eyes of others, he was definitely a top-notch expert. But in his eyes, it was not enough. If not for the fact that he wanted to know the origin of this demon plant, he could have killed it in one move. Since you don't know what's good for you, then die. The white-haired old man's face was ferocious. He held a pitch-black dagger and rushed towards Suchin. A level 1 evolver? Suchin was surprised. Judging from the opponent's speed, it was likely that he was a level 1 evolver. This was out of his expectations. Because the white-haired old man was a level 3 spirit reader, he must have spent a lot of time cultivating his spiritual power. Logically speaking, he should not have had time to cultivate his physical body. For this to happen, it could only mean that the white-haired old man's talent was a cut above others. He was considered a genius. However, if he wanted to hurt him with this bit of strength, it was a bit wishful thinking. Suchin rubbed his nose and did not move. He quietly waited for the opponent to rush over. Seeing that Suchin did not dodge, the white-haired old man thought that Suchin was scared out of his wits. He was overjoyed, and a cruel smile appeared on his face. Go to hell! The white-haired old man rushed forward and stabbed at Suchin's head with his dagger. Gotcha! The expected scene of Suchin being stabbed did not happen. Instead, the dagger in the white-haired old man's hand was broken into 2 pieces. Even his hand was shattered. How is this possible? How can your physical body be so strong? The white-haired old man took a few steps back and looked at Suchin in horror as if he had seen a ghost. Although he was only a level 1 evolver, even a level 4 evolver would be injured if he didn't dodge and let him attack as he pleased. On the other hand, Suchin was not injured at all. Instead, he was injured. This was too inconceivable. He even suspected that Suchin was an evolver above level 5. Suchin had the ancient godly demon body, which was known as the invincible body. Against opponents of the same level, regardless of whether it was physical attacks, magical attacks, spiritual attacks, or poison, they were all negligible. What's more, the white-haired old man's cultivation was far below Suchin's, let alone injuring Suchin. What a strong physical body! Even level 4 evolvers can't have a stronger body. When the demon plant saw this scene, it was so surprised that it could not close its mouth. It looked at Suchin with eyes full of awe. Old thing, tell me the origin and use of that demon plant honestly. Otherwise, I'm going to make a move. Suchin rubbed his nose and said mockingly. The fruit produced by the demon plant exuded a strong aura of life. It was definitely not an ordinary fruit. He had to figure it out. Hearing this, the white-haired old man's face changed. He seemed to have made up his mind. He gritted his teeth and said, I can tell you, but I have to take half of the fruit. You want to bargain with me? It seems that you haven't understood your position. Suchin snorted coldly and took a step forward. A violent murderous aura swept out and immediately suppressed the white-haired old man to the point that he could not breathe. Then, the white-haired old man looked at him in horror. Su-chin rushed forward and grabbed one of the white-haired old man's arms, squeezing it hard. Crack. The crisp sound of bones cracking echoed in the room. Chapter 224. Ah! The white-haired elder screamed, and his entire face was distorted. The monster plant at the side was also trembling in fear. It exclaimed, "He's also a level 3 evolved being." It was extremely shocked when it thought of how Su-chin was so young but had 2 major professions and had reached level 3 in both professions. Su-chin heard the sound and glanced at the monster plant. He said softly, "You can speak? You should know where you came from, right?" The monster plant's language was different from human language. If it was someone else, they would not be able to understand it. However, Su-chin had integrated universal terminology and was proficient in all the languages in the world. Naturally, he could understand the monster plant's language. "Senior, you can speak the monster plant's language?" The monster plant widened its eyes and was so surprised that it could not close its mouth. The young man in front of it was not only powerful, but he could also speak the monster plant's language. It was simply unbelievable. "I'm asking you if you know where you came from. Cut the crap." Su-chen's face darkened, and his voice was cold. If the monster plant knew where he came from, then there was no need for the white-haired elder to stay. On the other hand, if the monster plant was as ignorant as the blood plant, then he would have to pry open the white-haired elder's mouth. The monster plant was shocked and hurriedly replied, "Senior, I know." Su-chen's heart skipped a beat. He turned around and looked at the white-haired elder. Then he raised his hand and shot out a wind blade, killing the elder cleanly on the spot. Seeing this, the monster plant was a little stunned. "What's going on? Is it that I'm old and dizzy? How can he use spells to attack? Oh my god! He's a full-time cultivator." Even though it had lived for countless years, it had never seen a full-time cultivator. It had never even heard of one. Moreover, Su-chin looked like he was less than 20 years old. A full-time cultivator who was less than 20 years old. Moreover, he had reached level 3 in every aspect. This was no longer a genius. It was not even enough to describe him as a monster. The monster plant stared at Su-chin in a daze. Its heart was in turmoil, unable to calm down for a long time. "Why don't you tell me where you came from?" Su-chin walked up to the demonic plant and asked in a low voice. The monster plant regained its senses and replied fearfully, "Senior, I belong to the monster plant lineage. I am a longevity fruit tree." "What is a longevity fruit tree?" Su-chin was very curious. "The fruits that I bear can increase one's lifespan after consuming them. Every ripe fruit can increase one's lifespan by 10 years. Moreover, the effects can be stacked indefinitely," the monster plant explained. Hearing this, Su-chen's eyes lit up, and even his heart started to beat wildly. At first, he felt that this monster plant was not simple, but he never expected it to be this complicated. What did it mean to be able to increase one's lifespan? Everyone knew that in this world, other than zombies, humans, mutant beasts, and other races all had limited lifespans. Even the most powerful cultivators could not escape the ravages of time and would eventually turn into a pile of dirt. Consuming a longevity fruit could increase one's lifespan by 10 years. Moreover, the effects could be stacked indefinitely. Did that not mean that as long as this longevity fruit tree existed, it could live forever, compete with the sun and the moon, and resonate with heaven and earth? Su-chin took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He asked again, "How many times can you bear fruits in your life, and how long does it take for the fruits to mature?" Both of these points were very important. This was because if the longevity fruit tree could only bear fruits once in its life, and it needed a long time to mature, then its effect would be very limited. Chapter 225. As long as I'm alive, I can continue to bear longevity fruits. The cycle is once every 10 years, the monster plant replied. Not bad. Su-chin nodded slightly, a smile quietly crossing the corner of his mouth. The longevity fruit tree could bear fruits continuously and could bear fruits once every 10 years. It was enough for him and the people around him to use. He was very satisfied with this result. How long until the fruits that you bear now reach maturity? Su Chen asked. The longevity fruit tree had already borne 10 fruits. Judging from the life aura that it was emitting, it had matured. 5 more years until it reaches maturity. Su Chen memorized it and asked, "How many longevity fruit trees are there in your monster plant lineage?" Although I don't have any combat power, my ability is considered to be heaven-defying. Any monster plant that has heaven-defying ability is unique, the longevity fruit tree said proudly. Although the longevity fruit tree was a little pretentious, Su Chen didn't mind. After all, the longevity fruit tree did have the right to be pretentious. Then, are there any other types of monster plants that have heaven-defying abilities like you? Su Chen asked. There are, but not many. The longevity fruit tree thought for a while and replied, there are also essence fruit tree, demonic fruit tree, and power fruit tree. What are their specific effects? Su Chen asked calmly. Essence fruit can increase mental strength, demonic fruit can increase magical strength, and power fruit can increase physical strength, the longevity fruit tree explained. Hearing this, Su Chen took a deep breath and a look of excitement appeared on his face. These few types of fruit trees could be said to be rare spiritual items in the world. If he could collect all of them, his strength would definitely soar. Do you know where they are? Su Chen asked anxiously. I don't know, the longevity fruit tree replied. Su Chen was slightly disappointed, but then he thought that it was already a great fortune to be able to come across a longevity fruit tree. A man who was never content was like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. If he was too persistent, it would be counterproductive. After calming down, Su Chen asked, how did you get here? He was caught by that little guy. The longevity fruit tree stretched out a branch and pointed at the white-haired old man. As an existence that had lived for countless years, it was reasonable for it to call the white-haired old man a little fellow. However, Su Chen already knew about this. This was not the answer he was looking for, so he asked in a deep voice, what I meant was, how did you come to the mysterious heavenly mainland from the monster plant continent? He was brought here by an expert of our plant beast. The longevity fruit tree immediately replied after collecting its thoughts. Su Chen nodded. It was reasonable for a spiritual object like the longevity fruit tree to attract the attention of others. His guess was that the monster plant expert must have stolen the longevity fruit tree and fled to the innate continent because he couldn't survive in the monster plant continent anymore. Where did the demon plant expert that brought you here go? It's dead. Did it die when passing through the boundary passage? Su Chen asked casually. The boundary passage was the entrance and exit that connected two worlds. Before it was completely stabilized, it could not be passed through casually. Moreover, the stronger one was, the more difficult it was to pass through. It was not impossible for one to be killed by the boundary passage's power. It was killed by the boundary passage's power. However, it was mainly because it was severely injured by many experts from other clans before passing through the boundary passage, the longevity fruit tree said slowly. Chapter 226. Injured by experts from other clans? Su Chen frowned as he muttered to himself. How could there be other clans on the monster plant continent? With doubts in his heart, Su Chen asked, how did the experts from other clans enter the monster plant continent? Those super clans coveted our clan's sacred item and worked together to create a boundary passage. That's how they could enter the monster plant continent, the longevity fruit tree explained. Su Chen's eyelids twitched. According to what the longevity fruit tree said, his previous guess was completely wrong. The monster plant expert did not escape to steal the longevity fruit tree. He must have been forced to enter the mysterious heavenly mainland to protect the clan's sacred item. The sacred item was naturally the longevity fruit tree and the other spirit trees. Thinking of this, Su Chen was a little uneasy. He looked at the longevity fruit tree and asked, that monster plant expert didn't only bring you out, right? Yes, including me, the essence fruit tree and the other spirit trees were all brought out. The longevity fruit tree replied affirmatively. Upon hearing this, Su Chen's breathing became a little heavy as he clenched his fists tightly. Before this, he did not plan to look for the other spirit trees because he thought they must be in the monster plant continent. Since they were in different worlds, the possibility of finding them was very slim. It was basically a waste of time. However, it was different now. Since he had appeared in the mysterious heavenly mainland, he could not miss this opportunity. Of course, the mysterious heavenly mainland was vast and boundless. It was also very difficult to find them. He could only search with all his might. If he could not find them, it could only mean that he was not fated to find them. After taking a deep breath, Su-chin continued to ask, "Did the monster plant expert bring out the blood plant?" The blood plant is considered to be one of the strongest among the monster plants. "Of course, he brought it out," the longevity fruit tree replied. Su-chin had killed a blood plant before. Initially, he did not know the origin of the blood plant. Now that he thought about it, it must have been brought out by the monster plant expert and was stranded on Chinyu Island. Moreover, he also thought that the foreign clans frequently appeared in the mysterious heavenly mainland because of the monster plant clan's sacred items. "Little Shou, are you willing to follow me?" Su-chin looked at the longevity fruit tree quietly. With the longevity fruit tree's ability, it was fully qualified to stay by his side. As for his own people, Su-chin often addressed them in a very cordial manner. For example, Xiao Tai, the mechanical soldier, and Satoshi, the intelligent chariot. The three mutated wolves were Little Green, Little White, and Little Fire. Of course, he was using peaceful means before resorting to force. If the longevity fruit tree knew what was good for it, everything would be fine. If it didn't agree, it wouldn't be up to it. "Master, I'm willing to follow you," the longevity fruit tree immediately replied. It knew very well that it was no longer a sacred creature of the monster plant clan. It did not have much of a choice. And Su-chin was the most powerful person it had ever seen. At the very least, its safety would be guaranteed if it followed such a powerful person. "All right." Su-chin smiled cheerfully. The longevity fruit tree's answer satisfied him. Later, he used an upgrade gem to expand the planting space to 30 cubic meters. The extra space was reserved for the longevity fruit tree. After settling the longevity fruit tree, Su-chin left the residential building and returned to the intelligent chariot. "Satoshi, let's continue our journey," Su-chin immediately ordered as soon as he got into the chariot. "Yes." The intelligent chariot ignited and started moving forward according to the original route. Chapter 227. Chingu, what happened? Chao ran and the other two walked to Su-chin with a smile. Su-chin had been smiling since he got on the car, which made them very curious. "You will know in the future." Su-chin smiled and did not explain. Although they did not get the fragment, they did get a longevity fruit tree. Its value was unimaginable. He would not tell them for the time being. If it was leaked, it might cause unnecessary trouble. Chao ran and the other two did not ask much. Then they returned to their original position and gathered together to chat. Su-chin sat in the driver's seat and looked at the central control screen, continuing to look for the whereabouts of zombies and mutant beasts. In the next few days, they encountered fewer zombies and mutant beasts, so Su-chin did not gain much. On the fourth day, the intelligent chariot finally arrived at Etion City. Etion City was built at the foot of a mountain, and the size of the city was almost the same as Fengshi Gathering Place. A thin layer of gray fog floated above the city, making it look somewhat mysterious. The intelligent chariot stopped 1 mile away from Etion City. Su-chin got out of the car and looked at Etion City. The gate of Etion City was open, and a large number of zombies could be seen faintly inside. As Han Kun said, those zombies seemed to be restrained, and none of them walked out of the city. Su-chin looked away and said to the people in the car, "You stay in the car, I will go and see the situation." After saying that, he ran toward Etion City. When he came to the gate, the zombies inside found Su-chin and roared at him. Seeing this, Su-chin pondered. Compared to the zombies in the deep pit in the Huangzi mountain range, the zombies in Etion City were obviously more restrained. If it were the deep pit in the Huangzi mountain range, those zombies would definitely rush out when they saw him. On the other hand, although the zombies here were also extremely angry and even looked at him with bloodthirsty eyes, none of them rushed out. Su-chin waited for a while. Seeing that the zombies still refused to come out, he didn't want to wait any longer. He was here to kill zombies. Sooner or later, he would have to do it. He wanted to see how long those zombies could endure. Condensing a fireball in his palm, Su-chin aimed at the zombie at the front, raised his hand and shot it. Rumble! A loud explosion rang out. The fireball fell into the zombies and exploded, killing dozens of zombies on the spot and injuring countless zombies. Roar! Then, a furious roar reverberated throughout the city. All the zombies were angry and crazy. They bared their teeth and roared at Su-chin. However, they still showed no signs of rushing out. Let's see how long you can endure this. Su-chin coldly snorted, raising his hand and shooting out another fireball. Boom! The fireball exploded, killing dozens of zombies again. Then, he used Wind Blade and Violent Thunder technique. In less than a minute, he had killed more than 400 zombies. There were also more than 50 fragments that were dropped. Su-chin was not in a hurry to pick them up. He continued to release spells to kill the zombies. He had figured it out. It didn't matter if the zombies didn't come out. He would just keep killing. Anyway, the zombies couldn't run away. Sooner or later he would kill them all. After another round of attacks, close to 1,000 zombies had been killed. At this time, a man suddenly roared angrily in the city. "Human, you've gone too far. Do you really think that our Etion city is easy to bully? I'm bullying you. So what? Come out and bite me." Su-chin raised his voice and provoked. He had already guessed that there was an intelligent zombie here. However, this guy was really good at enduring. He waited until 1,000 zombies were killed before he was willing to come out. Chapter 228. Soon, a short figure slowly walked out from the group of zombies. It stopped at the city gate and looked at Su-chin. Su-chin also squinted his eyes to observe the other party. The zombie in front of him was only about 1.5 meters tall and was very thin. His withered face was covered with black threads, which made him look a little frightening. "Human, why did you kill my people?" Seeing that Su-chin was so young, the short zombie was a little surprised. The reason why it did not attack immediately was because it was afraid of Su-chin's strength. Previously, Su-chin had released several spells in a row, and each of them had reached level 3. Especially the power of the Thunderstorm spell, which had surpassed level 3 and was almost as powerful as a level 4 Thunderstorm spell. Facing such a level 3 psychic master who had several spells, the short zombie did not dare to act rashly. "Are you an idiot?" Su-chin scolded first, then sneered and said, "Humans and zombies are like fire and water. Do I have to ask why I came to kill you?" Hearing that, the short zombie snorted and gritted his teeth so hard that creaking sounds could be heard. However, he still held back his anger and said, "Human, I know you have some strength, but it is wishful thinking to fight against Etion City." Speaking of this, he glared at Su-chin and said sternly, "If you leave now, I can forget about the past. If you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being rude." Su-chin looked disdainful and said sarcastically, "Although you are a zombie with intelligence, in my eyes, you are no different from an ant. I can crush you to death easily. So, I advise you not to show off in front of me. You are not qualified to do so." Seeing that the short zombie was not willing to attack, Su-chin decided to provoke him. Sure enough, after being humiliated by Su-chin, the short zombie was furious. He gritted his teeth and roared, "Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish." With that, he waved his hand. "Kill him." The zombies in the city suddenly became incomparably crazy and madly rushed towards Su-chin outside the city. Su-chin was waiting for this opportunity, but in order to let the zombies rush out without any scruples, he didn't make a move, but slowly retreated. Seeing that Su-chin actually chose to escape, the short zombie's eyes revealed a ferocious color. "Do you think you can escape after angering this king?" Su-chin retreated several hundred meters before stopping. The number of zombies that rushed out had already reached 4,000 to 5,000. Su-chin felt that the number was about right, so he waved at the intelligent war chariot. The intelligent war chariot had been with Su-chin for a long time and immediately understood what Su-chin meant. It quickly rushed to the front of Su-chin, followed by the ungraded Gatling gun and the magnetic storm net at the same time. At the same time, Wu Yang and the others also rushed out of the car and fought with the zombies. Ta-ta-ta. Yeah? ZZZZ, the slaughter officially began at this moment. Under the coverage of the ungraded Gatling gun, the zombies fell in droves. The upgraded magnetic storm net was enough to kill level 3 zombies, and its powerful lethality was displayed incisively and vividly. Streaks of thick electric currents rampaged through the zombies, and wherever they passed, the zombies were directly turned into ashes. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of zombies were killed. The killing speed was so fast that even Su Chen paled in comparison. Chapter 229. The short zombie in the distance was terrified to the extreme as he witnessed his subordinates being slaughtered. He was also furious to the extreme. Damn it! How can there be such a powerful MCV? Although Wu Yang and the others were strong, they were not a threat to him. On the contrary, the intelligent combat vehicle was too lethal. It was the first time he had seen a MCV that could attack. It had completely subverted his understanding. At the same time, he clearly understood that with the help of the MCV, no matter how many zombies he had, they would be slaughtered. What a sinister human! The short zombie was furious. He had realized that Su Chen had deliberately angered him in order to let his zombie army out of the city so that they could be wiped out in one fell swoop. He could not stand by and watch his men get slaughtered one by one. If all of them were killed, he would become a commander without an army. As if he had made up his mind, the short zombie roared toward the city. Magic Legion, go out of the city and kill the enemy. Soon, 100 zombies came to the city gate and stood behind the short zombie, waiting for orders. The short zombie glanced at the group of zombies, then pointed at Su Chen and the others and ordered, "Kill those humans." The 100 zombies roared in unison and then slowly moved out of the city. Their footsteps were neat and orderly, just like an army that had undergone strict training. Su Chen had been paying attention to the situation at the city gate. When he saw the 100 zombies, he frowned slightly. Han Kun once said that there were a large number of mutant zombies in Etion City. It was very likely that they were the ones in front of him. Mutant zombies should be the short zombies' trump card. They had not appeared before, probably to preserve their strength. Now was the critical moment, and they had no choice but to show their strength in order to turn the tide. In the face of 100 zombies that could cast spells, Su Chen did not dare to be careless. Because if they cast spells together, the power of their spells could exceed level 4 spells. It was comparable to the Black Flame Dragon's Dragon Flame. In the face of such an attack, it was easy for him to deal with it. After all, with the ancient God-fiend body and many other means, he could completely ignore such group attacks. However, the intelligent war chariot couldn't do the same. Its current defense was only at level 3, and it couldn't withstand such concentrated fire. As for Wu Yang and the others, they were even more vulnerable in the face of a level 4 spell. It was very likely that they would be killed in a single blow. Su Chen couldn't let this happen. Purple light flashed on his feet, and he quickly activated the rapid combat boots and rushed toward the group of mutated zombies. He must kill all of them before the mutated zombies attack. The short zombies at the gate of the city saw Su Chen rushing over alone. At first, he was stunned, but then he was overjoyed. He could already tell that Su Chen was most likely a magician and an evolver. However, its strength was only at level 3. If the mutated zombies attacked at the same time, there was a high chance of killing it. He couldn't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. At the same time, he shouted, "Let's attack together and kill that human." The mutated zombies received the order and stopped in their tracks. They quickly gathered their spells. Icicles, fireballs, wind blades, thunderstorms, and other types of spells appeared one by one. When they condensed to the critical point, they all smashed towards Su Chen, who was flying over. Su Chen was still fearless in the face of 100 spells. He released his spiritual power and activated the wee golden scales on the arm. He didn't stop at all as he charged forward. Chapter 230. 100 spells rained down on Su Chen from all directions. The dazzling colors intertwined with each other as if stars were falling from the sky. The terrifying magical waves emitted from the spells were enough to send chills down one's spine even from afar. Su-Chen. Tan Lin's heart sank when she saw that Su-Chen was drowned by the spells. Everyone else's faces turned pale as well. Yang Qian even started to cry. So he's just a hothead? The short zombie laughed out loud. Even a level 4 evolver would have to avoid the attacks of hundreds of spells. Su-Chen was only level 3, yet he chose to fight head-on. It was no different from suicide. The short zombie also thought that Su-Chen was a brainless idiot. Boom. In an instant, all the spells rained down on Su-Chen. Explosions were heard all around him. Gravel flew everywhere as the wind howled. Even the sky changed color. Dust rose into the air as Su-Chen's figure was completely covered by the spells. This is what you get for showing off. The short zombie spat. From his point of view, Su-Chen had already been blasted to smithereens. He couldn't be more dead. However, when he glanced at where Su-Chen was, his eyelids twitched. How is this possible? How are you still alive? The short zombie was terrified as if he had seen a ghost. In his line of sight, a handsome figure slowly walked out from the dust. It was none other than Su-Chen, whom he thought was dead for sure. He saw clearly that Su-Chen was not only alive and well, but there was also no injury on his body, and there was a strange smile on the corner of his mouth. How could he be unharmed after being hit by 100 spells? How strong was his physical body and strength needed to be to achieve this? Was this young man even human? The short zombie did not dare to imagine further. Unknowingly, he felt a chill run down his spine and his whole body started to tremble. On the other hand, Tan Lin cried tears of joy when she saw that Su-Chen was still alive. She hugged Yang Qian tightly. Wu Yang took a deep breath, his heart trembling. Ever since he had left the Tiannan colony, he had realized that Su-Chen had been creating miracles step by step. Previously, he had single-handedly suppressed the entire Vajra city to the point where he could catch the black flame explosion dragon with his bare hands. And today, he was able to withstand 100 spells all by himself without suffering any injuries. All of this proved how powerful Su-Chen was. He even believed that Su-Chen was the symbol of invincibility. In this world, there was nothing that Su-Chen couldn't do, and no one could hurt Su-Chen. Now that I've seen your trump card, it's time to see mine. Su-Chen stared at the short zombie coldly. He curled the corner of his mouth and swept out the enchanted sword in his hand. A blue torrent swept forward, and in the blink of an eye, it fell into the group of mutant zombies, wreaking havoc. Following a series of blood-curdling screams, the 100 mutant zombies were all turned into charred corpses. The short zombie was a level 3 zombie. Although he was not dead, he was severely injured. His body was covered with scars from being ravaged by lightning. It was a ghastly sight. At this moment, he was lying on the ground, panting heavily. His eyes were filled with fear as he looked at Su-Chen. He had never seen such a terrifying lightning spell before. Moreover, this lightning spell seemed to have fused with the force of an evolver. The fact that two different things could be fused together so perfectly was unbelievable to him. Chapter 231. Who the hell are you? The short zombie gritted his teeth and struggled to get up from the ground. Why do you know so much when you're about to die? Su-Chen sneered. Then he moved his feet and appeared in front of the short zombie in an instant. He raised his hand and punched out. Sir, avenge me. The short zombie knew that there was no chance of survival in the face of a strong person like Su-Chen. He simply gave up resisting and roared at Etion City before he died. Bang! The short zombie's head was blown up by Su-Chen's punch. The moment he fell, a golden light flashed on his corpse. Golden fragment. Su-Chen was excited. The golden fragment was a full attribute fragment. Individually, it was the most valuable of all the fragments. Su-Chen took a deep breath and grabbed the golden fragment. Picked up, level 4 full attribute, fragment *111. The fragment is full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su-Chen did not hesitate. Immediately afterward, he felt a huge change in his body. His physical body and strength had been greatly improved. His magical power and mental strength had also soared. In addition, after being promoted to level 4, golden scales on the arm could resist level 5 attacks. And ancient god demon body could ignore any level 4 attacks. It could be said that although Su Chen had only been promoted by 1 level, his strength had increased exponentially. Now, even if he faced a level 5 evolver, he was confident enough to kill him. After picking up the golden fragment, Su Chen was about to return to kill zombies when a terrifying pressure suddenly came from Etion City. "Human, how dare you act recklessly in my Etion City? I will kill you today." An angry roar came from afar and entered Su Chen's ears. "Alien?" Su Chen frowned. He heard clearly that this roar was not in human language. "Which race is it?" Su Chen muttered and turned to look in the direction of Etion City. Soon, a 3-meter-tall alien appeared in his line of sight. This alien was like a small mountain, and his speed was as fast as the wind. He had completely reached the level of a level 4 evolver. In the process of running, the ground made a thumping sound. After a few breaths, he was already more than 10 meters away. Su Chen squinted and looked at the black shadow. When he saw the appearance, his heart skipped a beat. This alien looked somewhat similar to a human. He had a human face, but he was very rough. His face was full of stubble, and his fluffy hair fell down, covering half of his face. His naked body was covered with a layer of yellow fur. His 4 limbs were thick and powerful, and his muscles seemed to contain explosive power. With a height of 3 meters, he looked like an uncivilized barbarian. "Big guy, which race do you belong to?" When the alien race came closer, Su Chen raised his voice and asked. He was using the alien's language. The strange races originally wanted to kill Su Chen right from the start, but when they heard that Su Chen could speak their language, they stopped their actions. He looked at Su Chen and asked fiercely, "Kid, how do you know our half-beast race's language?" "So you're from the half-beast race." Su Chen pondered for a moment before he chuckled. "Big guy, how did you come to our illusory continent?" "Kid, it might not be a good thing to know too much." The half-beast race's face turned cold, and then he laughed. "If you know what's good for you, answer my question quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." Chapter 232. How impolite? Su Chen rubbed his nose and said calmly. The Beastman was only level 4. How could he defeat him? He was also level 4 and was invincible among level 4s. Naturally, he did not take the Beastman seriously. Seeing Su Chen's calm expression as if he did not take him seriously, the Beastman was enraged. "Since you're so ungrateful, I'll teach you how to behave." The Beastman's expression changed. He snorted and threw a punch at Su Chen. Before the punch arrived, a gust of wind blew. The power of a level 4 evolver was completely released. Su Chen was still unmoved. When the huge fist was close to him, he threw a punch as well. His fist was glowing with a bright golden light. There was a muffled bang. The 2 fists collided. After a short stalemate, the Beastman's huge fist shattered inch by inch. In the blink of an eye, it became a bloody mess. After being heavily injured, the half-beast race member let out a blood-curdling screech as he retreated. However, before he could take a few steps, he felt that his feet were entangled by something. At the same time, an invisible force pressed down on him from all directions, causing him to be unable to breathe. The Beastman's expression changed. He could not care less about the pain in his hands. He used his strength and tried to break free from the thing that was entangled around his feet. However, at this moment, something strange happened again. He felt a bone-piercing chill from his legs. It went from the bottom up and reached his waist in an instant. Under the attack of the chill, his lower body quickly lost feeling. "What the hell is this?" The half-beastman roared in shock and lowered his head to look. He saw that his feet were entangled by green vines. His legs were covered with a thick layer of ice, emitting a bone-piercing chill. Seeing this, he felt a sense of absurdity. How could a mere wood elemental binding spell and frost spell bind him to this extent? After all, he was a level 4 evolver. Furthermore, as half-beasts, their physiques were far superior to other races. They were only slightly inferior to the night demons. Then why was a weak human able to control him with a spell? Su Chen's spell was only a level 4 spell. Under normal circumstances, it should not have been able to restrain the demi-humans. But whether it was wood entanglement or frost, they contained more than just magic power. The former had fused with the serene pool divine wood, while the latter had fused with the mysterious ice of 9 serenities. With the support of the two manifestations, the power of the spell was far beyond that of a level 4 spell. It was even slightly stronger than a level 5 spell. Although the half-beastmen were stronger than the average level 4 evolver, they had no way of resisting a level 5 spell. Now it's time to tell me where you came from, right? Su Chen walked forward with a smile. A pitch-black saber appeared in his hand, exuding a cold, killing intent. Ha! The half-beastman sneered and said contemptuously, "Boy, I admit that you're very strong. But if you want to control us half-beastmen, I'm afraid that's wishful thinking." "So, you're not going to tell me?" Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. A mutated race suddenly appeared in Etion City. There must be some secret. It would be best if he could find out from this half-beastman. But if the other party was stubborn and did not say anything, he would kill him without mercy. At most, he would personally enter Etion City to investigate. Chapter 233. Kid, I advise you to let me go quickly. The anger of the half-beast race is not something a human like you can bear. Although he was controlled by Su Chen, the half-beast race was not afraid at all. Instead, he threatened Su Chen. He thought that with his identity as a half-beast race, a mere human would not dare to do anything to him. Not to mention the half-beast race, even if the 5 super races provoke me, I will still kill them. Who do you think you are? Su Chen sneered and swept his saber across. The half-beast race's huge head rolled onto the ground. Even though he was dead, his eyes were still wide open. His eyes were full of unwillingness and disbelief. Until his death, he still could not believe that he had died in the hands of a human. The moment the half-beast race fell, there were dense roars of zombies. Immediately afterwards, a large number of zombies rushed out of the city and charged straight at Su Chen. Good. Su Chen was not shocked but overjoyed, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He would not let go of the zombies in Etion City in the first place. Since the other party had taken the initiative to come to him, it saved him a lot of trouble. After glancing at the zombies that were charging over, Su Chen looked at the half-beast race. That was because when he killed him, he had dropped 10 fragments, one of which was green. The green fragments represented something related to cultivation techniques. Previously, there had been the Heavenly Hundredfold Strength technique and 10,000 Lights as Shadows killing technique. Although he could not exchange for them for the time being, he did not know what their specific functions were. However, the energy points required to exchange for them were extremely terrifying. They both required 10,000 energy points, just like the ancient God-Fiend body. Given that the ancient God-Fiend body was invincible among those of the same level, it could be deduced that cultivation techniques must be very impressive. Hence, he attached great importance to the green fragments. Before the zombies rushed over, Su Chen walked forward and grabbed the green fragment. Picked up Pegasus Meteor Punch, Fragment X1, 120. The fragments are not full and cannot be used. Can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. With that, Su Chen fell into deep thought. In his previous life, he had seen a cartoon called Saint Seiya, and the main character's ultimate skill was Pegasus Meteor Punch. He couldn't help but wonder if the two were the same thing. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly opened the Doomsday Merchant Center to check. When he saw that the exchange points for Pegasus Meteor Fist was 2,000 points, he was a little tempted. Pegasus Meteor Fist was undoubtedly a unique fist technique. Once he exchanged for it, his strength would definitely soar. Moreover, he now had more than 2,000 energy points, so he could definitely exchange them. After a slight hesitation, he decided to exchange for it. Although he was powerful now, he mainly relied on the enchanted magic saber and other magic arts to attack. It was more or less monotonous, so he wanted to enrich his attack methods. After making up his mind, he spent 2,000 energy points to make the exchange. The moment the exchange was successful, he quickly received a reply. Pegasus Meteor Fist was indeed a secret fist technique. When used, it would allow one to continuously throw out 100 punches in a second. Moreover, each punch had the same lethality as the main body. In other words, when Su Qin used Pegasus Meteor Fist, it was equivalent to throwing out 100 punches in a row. The power would increase by 100 times. Not to mention being invincible among those of the same level, even killing enemies of a higher level would become easy. Chapter 234. Awesome! Su Qin was very excited, and his face was filled with a bright smile. He only spent 2,000 energy points to exchange for a powerful secret fist technique, which was something he didn't expect before. At this point, it also meant that he had taken another big step forward on the path of invincibility. He even thought about how powerful each punch would be if he used it together with the heavenly hundredfold strength formula. TSK. Those who were one level higher than him were definitely no match for him. Those who were 2 levels higher than him would definitely not have an easy time even if they could resist his attacks. Later, his eyes fell on the zombies that were rushing over, and the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. Just in time to experiment on you guys. Then, Su Qin performed the Pegasus Meteor Fist and punched forward. In the next moment, 99 identical fists appeared around the fist. The momentum was like a rainbow, covering the sky and the sun. 100 fists gathered together like a mountain, pressing down on the zombies from the sky. There was a loud bang. The fist fell and set off a stormy wave among the zombies. 400 to 500 zombies were directly smashed into meat paste. Thousands of zombies were affected. Some were sent flying, and some had countless bones broken. Although they didn't die, they were seriously injured, lying on the ground and losing the ability to move. The terrifying lethality of the Pegasus Meteor Fist was vividly displayed at this moment. The power of one punch was so terrifying. It had become Su Qin's most powerful trump card. Wu Yang and the others in the distance saw this scene, and they were all shocked to the extreme. One punch, just one punch, killed hundreds of zombies and injured thousands of zombies. It was too terrifying and too exaggerated. Qin Gu is getting more and more powerful. Yang Hao looked at Su Qin in a daze, and his eyes were full of admiration. Su Qin was also stunned by this punch, and it took him a while to recover. After being stunned for a while, those zombies roared and rushed toward him again. Su Qin's eyes gradually narrowed, and another Pegasus Meteor Fist was thrown out. Boom! The terrifying fist aura wreaked havoc, killing hundreds of zombies once again. Originally, there were more than 3,000 zombies that rushed out, but after being hit by 2 Pegasus Meteor Punch, only a few hundred zombies were still able to move. However, they still didn't know what fear was. They still bared their teeth and charged toward Su Qin. Facing a few hundred zombies, Su Qin didn't use any killing moves. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed a barrage of spells of various elements. 1 minute later, all the zombies were dead. Even the heavily injured zombies were killed one by one. Seeing hundreds of light beams on the ground, Su Qin smiled. Then he retracted his gaze and looked behind him. Wu Yang's group and the intelligent war chariot continued to kill zombies, and it was a one-sided slaughter. It wouldn't take long for them to kill all the remaining zombies. Knowing this, Su Qin didn't want to go over and help. Instead, he started to pick up the fragments. The first thing he picked up was a red fragment. Picked up, Level 2 Constitution Potion, *111. The fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su Qin happily put the Level 2 Constitution Potion into his storage bag. Yang Hao and the others had been Level 1 evolvers for some time, and they had been fighting non-stop recently. Their combat experience was gradually increasing, and their foundation was very solid. It was time to level up. That level 2 constitution potion was just right for them to use. Chapter 235. Then, Su-chin continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up, Desert Sand Fire, Fragment *1, 9, 10. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Picked up, Apple Tree Seed, Fragment *1, 1, 1. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. No exchange for energy points. Picked up, Magic Fusion Gem, Fragment *1, 4, 10. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. After picking up the fragments, Wu Yang and the others had already killed all the remaining zombies and were digging for energy stones. Su-chin also returned to pick up the remaining fragments. An hour later, the remaining fragments were picked up and Su-chin began to count the goods. This time, a total of more than 1,000 fragments were dropped, and most of them were exchanged for energy points. The number of energy points had once again reached 1,000 points. Other than that, Desert Sand Fire had also been collected and integrated into the fire element magic. At this point, there were already 4 elements that had been integrated into the concrete objects. The fire element had been integrated into Desert Sand Fire. The wood element had been integrated into Serene Pool Divine Wood. The lightning element had been integrated into Wild Thunder. The ice element had been integrated into Mysterious Ice of the Netherworld. The spells of these 4 elements were far more powerful than the spells of the other elements. They were even comparable to level 5 spells. If released through Enchanted Sword, the power would completely exceed level 5 and be enough to cause a fatal blow to a level 5 evolver. In addition, there were more than 20 bottles of Constitution Potion of various levels, including 2 level 3 bottles. It was just enough to help Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian advance to level 3. After counting the gains, Su-chin looked at Etion City. The appearance of the beastmen in Etion City meant that there must be a realm passage inside. Moreover, this passage was not complete and could not be entered and exited at will. Otherwise, there would be more than one beastman. Captain Wu, I'm going to enter the city to take a look. You guys be careful. Before leaving, Su-chin found Wu Yang and reminded him. Don't worry. Wu Yang smiled. Now that the zombies were all killed, there would be no more danger. In addition, there was also a mechanical soldier that was comparable to a level 4 evolver, so there would not be any danger. Su-chin nodded and flew straight towards Etion City. Etion City was desolate. There were collapsed buildings everywhere. It was as if it had become a ruin. The surroundings were silent and filled with a strange aura. Su-chin kept looking around, but didn't find a single zombie or half-beast. As for the Interrealm passage, no one knew where it was hidden. After walking around the city for a while, Su-chin didn't find any clues, so he simply released his spiritual force to explore. Soon, he sensed traces of energy fluctuations somewhere at the foot of the mountain. This should be the entrance to the domain passage. Su-chin narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. There was also an interrealm passage in the desolate Lake Mountain Ranges mine. At that time, he was worried that he would encounter danger, so he didn't go down to investigate. Now, his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. He could even kill a level 5 evolver, so he had the intention to see the interrealm passage. Arriving at the foot of the mountain, Su-chin punched a stone wall. The energy fluctuations were coming from this stone wall. Rumble. After the stone wall shattered, a dazzling white passage appeared. It was about 3 meters in diameter and shone brightly. It contained a terrifying killing intent. Sometimes it was weak, sometimes it was very violent, and very unstable. Su-chin didn't dare to get close because that killing intent made him feel a sense of fear. After staring for a while, he raised his hand and shot out a thunderball, which flew into the interrealm passage. Chapter 236. This domain passage was likely to be connected to the world of the half-beast race. Once it was completely stabilized, the half-beast race army would invade Thousand Feather Island. Without knowing the cultivation level of the strongest half-beast race expert, Suchin did not intend to let the domain passage continue to be stabilized. There was a loud rumbling sound. After a flash of lightning in the domain passage, the terrifying killing intent completely broke out. An invisible murderous aura shot out from it, like a super strong storm, cutting everything around into pieces. Even though Suchin was far away, he was not spared. However, he had the ancient god-demon body, and the murderous aura did not cause any substantial harm to him, but only made him a little embarrassed. The power of the domain is really strong. Suchin murmured with lingering fear. He could imagine that if he was in the domain passage and suffered such a violent attack, even he would have suffered a lot. With the explosion of the thunderstorm technique, Suchin found that the domain passage was more chaotic than before, and it seemed to be about to collapse. Suchin's purpose was to destroy the domain passage, and of course, he hoped that it would be as violent as possible. Then he condensed another thunderball and was about to shoot it out. At the other end of the domain passage, a huge figure appeared, which was at least 10 meters tall. Although it was far away, Suchin still felt a majestic and terrifying aura. Obviously, the person who came was a super expert of the half-beast race. Suchin even thought that his cultivation level was at least above level 6, otherwise he would not have such a strong feeling. Human, how dare you destroy the domain passage of our half-beast race? Do you know that this is a capital offense? There was a violent rebuke from the other end of the domain passage. There was extreme contempt and anger in his words, as if he could crush Suchin to death at any time. Go to hell, who do you think you are? How dare you threaten me? Suchin snorted coldly, raised his hand and shot out a thunderball. With a roar, the entire interdomain passage began to tremble violently. The surrounding mountains were affected, and a large portion of them collapsed. Countless rocks rolled down, but before they could land on the ground, they were turned into powder by the murderous aura that shot out. Human, you deserve to die. Seeing that Suchin had ignored his threat and even dared to continue destroying the domain passage, the half-beastman roared in anger. Are you that awesome? Why don't you come out and bite me? Suchin provoked. Although the other party was very strong, if they could not pass through the realm passage, they could not pose any threat to him. He could tease it however he wanted, and he could release another lightning ball at any time to completely destroy the realm passage. This is infuriating. The half-beastmen couldn't do anything to Suchin and flew into a rage. Human, if you stop destroying, I can give you some benefits. After taking a deep breath, as if he had figured something out, the half-beastman suppressed his anger and said in a low voice. They had spent a lot of materials to build the realm passage here, and after decades of stabilization, it was about to take shape, but Suchin had destroyed it. Even so, he did not want the realm passage to be completely destroyed. Since he could not do anything to Suchin, he had the idea of negotiating. Even if he had to pay some price, he wanted Suchin to stop. Hearing this, Suchin's eyes lit up and his thoughts slowly turned. Destroying this realm passage was just a casual matter, but before that, wouldn't it be more satisfying if he could cheat the other party? Chapter 237. What can you give me? If I'm satisfied, I can consider it, Suchin asked calmly. The half-beast race member was overjoyed. He was most afraid that Suchin would do something stupid and not mention any conditions. He was determined to destroy the domain passage. Since there was room for discussion, everything could be discussed. What do you want? The half-beast asked. Seeing that you're quite sincere, I won't ask for much. 10,000 level 4 and above energy stones will do, Suchin said naturally. Considering that the next upgrade of the mechanical soldiers and intelligent war chariots required level 4 energy stones, and he only had one, he might as well take the opportunity to extort some. Of course, he also knew that 10,000 level 4 energy stones was an astronomical figure. The other party would definitely not be able to take out so many. The reason why he asked for such an exorbitant price was to wait for the other party to bargain. What? Are you so poor that you've gone crazy? As expected, The half-beast was enraged when he heard this number. 10,000 level 4 energy stones required the killing of 10,000 level 4 zombies or level 4 mutated beasts. Putting aside the fact that there were not that many high-level zombies, even if there were, how long would it take? How many experts would it take to kill all of them? So there's no room for discussion? Su-Chen rubbed his nose, and his voice became cold. The half-beast suppressed his anger. I can give you 100 level 4 energy stones at most. Nothing more. Energy stones and energy stones were used for the same purpose. If he only gave him 100, he could still afford it. Hearing that it was only 100, Su-Chen was unhappy. Damn it, there's no such harsh bargaining. Isn't it supposed to be 50%? If you cut off 99% of it, what else can I do? Do you think I'm a beggar? You want to get rid of me with just 100 energy stones? Su-Chen snorted coldly. Lightning flashed between his fingers. This was a sign that he was about to cast the explosive thunder spell. Wait a minute. Seeing that Su-Chen was about to make a fool of himself again, the half-beast was angry and anxious. He quickly said, I can add another 50 stones. 5,000. This is my minimum requirement, Su-Chen said calmly. The beastmen clenched their teeth, wishing they could tear Su-Chen into pieces. However, in order to calm Su-Chen down, he said patiently, level 4 energy stones are not as common as cabbages. Even if we were to add up all the energy stones in the Orc continent, we might not even have 5,000 of them. Su-Chen scoffed. How could an entire continent not have 5,000 grade 4 energy stones? Who are you trying to fool? However, he could also imagine that the possibility of the other party taking out 5,000 stones was very slim. Following the principle of cheating as much as he could, he said, 1,000 level 4 energy stones. This is my bottom line. 1,000? The corner of the beastman's mouth twitched. After thinking for a long time, he finally said, okay, but I need time to prepare. How long? Su-Chen asked. About an hour. Su-Chen nodded. Then I'll wait for you for an hour. The orc didn't say anything else and turned around to leave. Su-Chen stood where he was and waited quietly. An hour later, the beastman appeared on the other side of the interworld passage again. Human, this is for you. But remember to keep your promise. The beastman was very straightforward. He carried a cloth bag and threw it directly into the interworld passage. Just as the cloth bag was about to fly out of the interworld passage, it suddenly exploded. Hundreds of white crystal threads shot out from it and instantly merged into the passage. There was a brief moment of stability in the turbulent passageway, and then 4 figures rushed out of the passageway. Seeing this, Su-Chen narrowed his eyes and laughed disdainfully. Just a few level 4 evolvers and you dare to play dirty with me? Chapter 238. Su-Chen could clearly see that the 4 half-beastmen who came out of the interworld passage were all level 4 evolvers. Moreover, he also understood that the half-beastmen did not spend an hour to collect energy stones. He was looking for something to stabilize the interworld passage so that the 4 of them could pass through and kill Lu Sheng. If it were anyone else, they would definitely not be able to survive facing 4 evolvers of the same level. However, Su-Chen was different. He was invincible among those of the same level. Not to mention 4 evolvers of the same level, even if there were 10 times more of them, he would still be able to kill them easily. Arrogant human brat, die. The 4 half-beastmen rushed out and attacked Su-Chen at the same time. When the 4 of them joined forces, their aura was quite terrifying. You overestimate yourselves. Su-Chen snorted disdainfully. When the 4 of them got close, he punched out. Whoosh, whoosh. A whistling sound was heard. 100 fist shadows appeared in the air, each of them emitting a faint golden light. This punch perfectly combined the Pegasus Meteor Fist and Golden Scale Arm. What kind of fist technique is this? Why is it so terrifying? The half-beastmen on the other side of the interworld passage opened their eyes wide in shock. The 4 half-beastmen who rushed towards Su-Chen were even more shocked. Facing the sky full of fist shadows, their breathing almost stopped. In the next moment, there was the sound of flesh being punched. The 4 half-beastmen each suffered more than 20 heavy punches. Their skin and flesh were lacerated, and their bones were broken inch by inch. They turned into 4 meat paste and collapsed on the ground. Moreover, each of the corpses dropped a fragment, and one of them was purple gold. The purple gold fragment represented energy points, and its value was self-evident. Su-Chen was extremely excited. He quickly walked forward and grabbed the purple gold fragment. Picked up 2000 energy point fragment *111. The fragment is full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su-Chen did not hesitate at all. After picking up this fragment, he continued to pick up the other 3 fragments. Just as Su-Chen was busy picking up the fragments, the half-beast on the other side of the domain passage looked somewhat dazed. Su-Chen's powerful punch had easily killed 4 powerhouses of the same level, which had deeply shocked him. With his strength as a level 6 evolutionary, killing 4 level 4 evolutionaries was not difficult, but it was impossible for him to do it as easily as Su-Chen. To think that there is such a monstrous existence among the human race. The half-beast race member muttered in disbelief. As far as he knew, the human race was the weakest race among the 10,000 races. They had always been bullied by the 10,000 races. Not to mention geniuses or monsters, it was already very difficult to find an expert who was on the same level. However, Su-Chen's appearance completely overturned his understanding. Su-Chen was so strong that even the geniuses of the 5 superclans were no match for him. Moreover, Su-Chen looked very young. He might not even be 20 years old. A 20-year-old level 4 evolutionary was already shocking, and it was even more frightening that he had the strength to crush those of the same level. The half-beast race even thought that once Su-Chen grew up, he would definitely become a super expert. He might even lead the human race to fight against the 5 superclans. Damn it! We can't let this human grow. The half-beast race member muttered fiercely. However, no matter how much he wanted to kill Su-Chen, there was nothing he could do with the domain passage between them. Su-Chen picked up the remaining 3 fragments and looked at the half-beast clan member. He said sarcastically, "You want to kill me with just you alone? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Do you have the ability to do so? Trush." Chapter 239. Being mocked by Su-Chen to his face, the orc's face turned pale. Surprisingly, he did not fly into a rage. Instead, he said patiently, "Human, you're very powerful. You've already gained my approval. We can continue our deal." Since he could not do anything to Su-Chen, he wanted to continue negotiating with Su-Chen to protect the inter-realm passage. "You have level 4 energy stones on you, right?" Su-Chen did not continue to provoke him. Although it was satisfying to scold him, there were no substantial benefits. He might as well take the opportunity to get some energy stones. "I don't have 1,000 level 4 energy stones on me, but I can prepare them quickly." "I won't lie to you this time," the orc said honestly. Previously, he thought that sending 4 subordinates would be enough to kill Su-Chen, so he did not prepare any energy stones. "How many level 4 energy stones do you have now?" "Give them to me first," Su-Chen said loudly. The orc opposite him was much more cunning than he thought. He would not believe him. "I only have 100 on me." "I'll give them to you now," the orc replied and threw out a cloth bag. In order to appease Su-Chen, he did not cheat. There were indeed 100 level 4 energy stones in the cloth bag. The cloth bag flew out of the interrealm passage and landed in Su-Chen's hands. Su-Chen released his spiritual power to check it. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he put it away in his storage bag. Then he smirked. Lightning flashed in his hand, and a ball of lightning slowly formed. "Brat, you didn't keep your word," the orc roared angrily. Seeing that Su-Chen had accepted the energy stones and was about to continue forming the explosive thunder spell, the orc was shocked. He knew that he might have been tricked by Su-Chen. "Haha, I didn't keep my word?" Su-Chen sneered, then said sarcastically, "You said that you were going to prepare the energy stones, but you sent your subordinates to kill me. Now you're saying that I didn't keep my word. You half-beasts are really shameless." The half-beast tribesman gritted his teeth and said humbly, I was wrong in the past, but this time, I promise to prepare the energy stones for you. They had spent a lot of effort and a lot of materials on the interdomain passage, so they had to protect it no matter what. At the same time, he was filled with regret. If he had known that Su Chen was so powerful, he would not have arranged for people to kill Su Chen. Now, not only did he lose everything, but he was also led by Su Chen by the nose. He really felt like he had shot himself in the foot. In fact, he did not know that even if he handed over the energy stones, Su Chen would still destroy the realm passage. In Su Chen's heart, cooperating with the strange races was like asking a tiger for its skin. Of course, he wouldn't do such a thing. From the beginning to the end, he had only wanted to swindle the energy stones. Su Chen rubbed his nose and teased, kneel down and call me grandpa, and I might consider it. He could sense that the beastmen seemed to be very afraid of the domain passage being destroyed. Since he had grasped her weakness, he naturally had to take advantage of the opportunity to pinch her. What? The half-beast tribesman almost fainted from anger. He was a dignified level 6 evolver and could be called an overlord on the half-beast continent. It had always been others who knelt to him. When had he ever knelt to others? Moreover, the person he was kneeling to was a lowly human, so he was even more unwilling. Human, don't push your luck. The half-beast tribesman felt greatly humiliated, but he forced himself not to fly into a rage. Looks like you're not going to give me face? Su Chen pursed his lips and directly condensed a thunderball and looked like he was going to throw it out. Chapter 240. Stop it! The orc was panicking. The interrealm passageway had been hit by 2 violent thunder skills. It was already on the verge of collapsing. If it was hit by another one, it would definitely collapse. What? Have you made up your mind? Su Chen asked calmly. All right, I agree. In order to protect the interrealm passageway, the orc was ready to go all out. He fell to his knees with a thud. His body was close to 10 meters tall. When he fell to his knees, it was as if a small mountain had fallen to the ground. Su Chen nodded his head slightly and said, Call me grandpa now. Otherwise, I'm going to attack you. Upon hearing this, the orc's huge body trembled violently. Call him grandpa? Was it not enough for an overlord to kneel? And he had to call a weak human grandpa? This was worse than killing him. Human, don't push your luck. The orc gritted his teeth. A towering rage surged in his heart. At this moment, he swore to himself that as long as he entered the mysterious heavenly mainland, he would capture this despicable human at all costs. He would let him taste all the pain and regret that he was born in this world. I'm pushing my luck. What are you going to do about it? Su Chen scolded and threatened again. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. If you don't call me grandpa, I won't hold back anymore. Su Chen had grasped the orc's weakness and had him under control. No matter how powerful he was, he would still be toyed with in the palm of his hand. Seeing that the orc did not respond, Su Chen began to count down. 3, 2, stop, I'll call you. The orc bit his lips until they bled. It was as if he had gone through an intense struggle. In the end, he bowed his head and called out softly, Grandpa. Are you a mosquito? Who are you calling for? Louder. Su Chen scolded. The orc was stunned. What the F***CK? I've already knelt to you. I've already called you grandpa and you're still not satisfied? Are you still a human? Why are you even more tyrannical than us half-beasts? Louder, shout from the bottom of your heart. Don't make me wait too long, Su Chen urged with a threatening tone. Gulp. The orc swallowed his saliva and clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his flesh. Hurry up, my patience is limited. Su Chen scolded again. Grandfather. The beastman finally compromised and shouted loudly. The voice was very loud and clear, and seemed to be filled with indignation and anger. Even though they were separated by the domain passage, Su Chen felt his ears buzzing. Rubbing his ears, Su Chen's face darkened as he snorted. Trash like you wants to be my grandson? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? Are you worthy? Hearing this, the beastmen were petrified on the spot. He was devastated and furious. You can't bully people like this. You're the one who asked me to call you Grandpa, and you're the one who said that I'm unworthy. F***ck, are you still human? Is this how you play? Do you really think us half-beasts are idiots? Kid, I've already compromised. I hope you don't dig your own grave. After a long time, the orc raised his head. His eyes were cold and his voice was as cold as a glacier. Suchin felt that it was about time. He still had many things to ask, so he stopped teasing him. He coughed lightly and said, "What's the cultivation of the strongest person in your half-beasts?" He had already shed all pretense of cordiality with the orc race. There would be a battle in the future. Before that, he had to figure out the strength of the other party and prepare in advance. More than 10 levels, the orc said arrogantly without hesitation. The reason why he told the truth was to intimidate Suchin. Chapter 241. The orc tribe is very powerful. Suchin muttered to himself. Not every race had an existence that surpassed level 10. Take the green tortoise tribe as an example, their strongest member was only level 4. Based on this, it could be seen that even if the orc tribe was not as powerful as the 5 great tribes, they could still be considered as a second-tier tribe. Human, the orc tribe is very powerful. If you submit to us, you will have made a great contribution when we conquer the mysterious heavenly mainland. The orc tribe member tried to convince Suchin. However, before he could say anything, he was interrupted by Suchin. Shut up. Who do you think you are? Even if the 5 major races are like ants in my eyes, you still want me to get lost? That's just wishful thinking. Suchin said with a look of disdain. He wasn't boasting about anything. He relied on picking up fragments to increase his strength. As his strength continued to increase, the number of zombies he killed would only increase. It would not take long for him to reach level 10. In addition to the many skills he had, the 5 great tribes would not be a threat to him. Shameless. The orc tribe member snorted at Suchin's words. The 5 great races were the most powerful races among the thousands of races. Suchin was just a weak human with a cultivation level of level 4. How dare he look down on the 5 great tribes? Was he not afraid of biting his tongue? Suchin did not argue with the orc tribe member. Instead, he asked, "The orc tribe is not the same as the zombies. How do you control the zombies?" When he was at the mine in the Huangza Mountains, the green tortoise tribe members could also control the zombies. This caught his attention. "This is a secret of our tribe. Do you think I will tell you?" The orc tribe member snorted. In fact, the orc tribe was not the only tribe that could control the zombies. The reason why they did not tell him was because they felt embarrassed. This was because the method of controlling the zombies was taught by the undead tribe. If one wanted to learn this method, they would have to submit to the undead tribe. In other words, the half-beast race was just a subsidiary force of the undead race. In any case, the half-beast race was a first-rate race among the 10,000 races. Yet, they had pledged allegiance to another race. If this news were to spread, wouldn't they be ridiculed by the other races? "If you don't tell me, I'll blow up the realm passage." Suchin did not care whether the other party was telling the truth or not. He continued to manipulate him. "Brat, don't go too far." The orc clenched his teeth and roared. He had been led by the nose by Suchin until now. He had knelt down and called him Grandpa, but Suchin was still unforgiving. He had given an inch and wanted a mile. He was about to lose his patience. F***ck your grandmother. So what if I bully you? Su coldly snorted and continued, "I'll still give you 3 breaths of time." As soon as he finished speaking, he did not give the orc a chance to reply and began the countdown. 3, 2. It's the undead race. Our 2 races are in a cooperative relationship. It was them who gave us the method. The half-beast race couldn't withstand the pressure and said dejectedly, "The undead race." Suchin muttered. At that time, he learned from the night devil race that the undead race claimed to be immortal and indestructible. However, they actually turned into zombies after death. Of course, since they were one of the 5 super races, they could not be compared to ordinary zombies. They could be considered the ancestors of zombies. It was reasonable for them to have the method to control zombies. Chapter 242. Grandson, we'll meet again if fate allows. After figuring out what was going on, Suchin did not want to be long-winded. He swung his hand and threw the thunderball into the boundary passage. Then, he activated the rapid boots and turned to fly out of Etion City. The boundary passage was already very unstable. If it was hit by another thunderstorm skill, it might be completely destroyed. At that time, the damage caused would be unimaginable. He had to leave as soon as possible. Seeing that Suchin did not keep his promise, the half-beast tribesman was so angry that the corners of his mouth trembled. However, before he could curse, he saw the entire boundary passage begin to collapse. The energy fluctuations produced were unusually violent, giving people a feeling that it could tear everything in the vicinity apart. Seeing this, the half-beast tribesman's face changed drastically. Like Suchin, he turned and fled. On the other side, Suchin had just rushed out of Etion City when an earth-shattering sound came from behind him. Then, the ground under his feet shook violently. Suchin did not stop and continued to fly forward. He ran for 2 miles in one breath before he stopped and looked back. He saw that Etion City and the towering mountain had turned into ruins. Choking smoke and dust curled up, covering the sky and the sun. The power of the boundary passage is indeed awesome. Suchin sighed and sighed. Wu Yang and the others were also shocked by the shocking changes in Etion City. Will Suchin be okay? Tan Lin's heart was in a mess. The others were also worried as they looked in the direction of Etion City. Gradually, a tall figure appeared in their line of sight, and it was dashing towards them. "Ichingu, he's back!" Yang Hao shouted excitedly. Seeing that the person who came was really Suchin, everyone was relieved. Soon, Suchin ran to them. "Suchin, are you okay?" Tan Lin and Yang Qian greeted him and looked at Suchin in a daze. "Don't worry." Suchin smiled. "Suchin, did you destroy Etion City?" Wu Yang walked forward and probed. "It was destroyed by the power of the realm." Suchin turned to look at Wu Yang and explained, "There was a realm passage inside that was connected to the Beastman's continent. I destroyed it with my thunderstorm technique." "Oh." Wu Yang nodded, secretly surprised. He had never thought that there would be a hidden realm passage in Etion City. Fortunately, Suchin had discovered and destroyed it in time. Otherwise, the alien race would have entered through the domain passageway and brought about another calamity to the humans here. When Suchin saw that all the energy stones had been dug out, he called for everyone to get into the car. Then he took out the Constitution Potion and distributed it. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian each took a bottle of Level 3 Constitution Potion, while the others, including the 3 mutated wolves, took Level 2 Constitution Potion. "Suchin, can this potion help me advance to a Level 3 Evolver?" Wu Yang trembled as he spoke. Although Suchin did not explain, he could vaguely guess. Last time, Suchin had given him a bottle of potion, which made him a Level 2 Evolver in one fell swoop. This time, wouldn't he become a Level 3 Evolver? Thinking of this, his breathing became heavy. Originally, he was already satisfied with becoming a Level 2 Evolver. He never thought that he would have the chance to become a Level 3 Evolver. This was something he did not even dare to dream of. One must know that a Level 3 Evolver could be considered a top expert. Huang Can of King Kong City was able to rule a large gathering place because he relied on the strength of a Level 3 Evolver. Yang Lingtian on the side was also very excited. He quietly stared at Suchin, waiting for his reply. Under everyone's gaze, Suchin smiled slightly and said with certainty, "After taking the Level 3 Constitution Potion, you will quickly become a Level 3 Evolver. There is no doubt about this." Chapter 243. Hearing this, Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian looked at each other. Then, without any hesitation, they raised their heads and drank the Level 3 Constitution Potion in their hands. "Chingu, what about the potions in our hands?" Yang Hao looked at Su Chen, his eyes full of hope. You guys have the level 2 constitution potion. After drinking it, you will naturally become a level 2 evolved person, Su Chen explained. Thank you, Chen Ge. Yang Hao was ecstatic. He picked up the constitution potion and poured it into his mouth. Chao Ran and Sherdaniu also fought to be the first to drink it, as if they were afraid that others would snatch it from them. Tan Lin and the other two would not miss the opportunity to increase their strength. They drank the constitution potion, one after another. As for the 3 mutated wolves, Su Chen fed them the constitution potion first. Then he exchanged 3 bottles of level 2 magic potion from the Doomsday Mall. They were ice, fire, and wood. Then he fed them again. At this point, not only did the 3 mutated wolves become level 2 evolved person, but the spellcaster also reached level 2. However, compared to Su Chen, who was an all-elemental spellcaster, they were all single-elemental spellcasters. After everyone had successfully leveled up, Su Chen took out another upgrade gem and leveled up the mechanical soldier to level 4. He also installed 20 level 4 energy stones on it. The remaining level 4 energy stones were all used on the intelligent chariot. This time, Su Chen did not choose to upgrade the intelligent chariot's defense and attack power. Instead, he mainly upgraded its detection range. If he wanted to hunt more zombies, he would have to constantly search for the whereabouts of zombies. The original detection range of 100 kilometers was too limited. After the upgrade, the detection range soared to 200 kilometers. This way, he would be able to discover more zombies. After a simple meal, the intelligent chariot was activated and began to search for zombies. Su Chen focused his gaze on the central control screen. As the detection range expanded, traces of zombies quickly appeared on the central control screen. However, there were too few of them. At most, there were only a few hundred zombies. Su Chen was not interested in them at all. After aimlessly driving for half a day, the intelligent chariot still did not find a large number of zombies. Su Chen was a little anxious. He did not want to keep wasting time. He even thought he might as well go back. At the very least, there were large numbers of zombies in Tianan Colony and Flying Bird Colony. After killing the zombies in those 2 places, if he could not find a large number of zombies, he would go to Yulin. Yulin District is the largest district in Thousand Feather Island, and there are many different forces there. Maybe there will be a medium-sized zombie tide. Then wouldn't it be more fun? More pieces. With this thought in mind, when he was about to order the intelligent war chariot to return, he suddenly noticed a large number of red and blue dots appearing on the central control screen. Among them, the number of red dots was at least 10,000, while the number of blue dots was at least several thousand. Seeing this, Su Chen moved. The red dots represented zombies and mutant beasts, the black dots represented aliens, and the blue dots represented humans. They were mixed together. This meant that there were aliens leading a zombie army to besiege the human colony. He certainly would not miss the opportunity to hunt zombies. He fixed his eyes on the central control screen. Soon, he found that the zombies and humans had gathered in a small colony called Temple of Heaven City. It was close to 200 kilometers away from here. Satoshi, go to Temple of Heaven City at full speed. Su Chen ordered. Chapter 244. Roger that. The intelligent war chariot sped up and headed toward the Temple of Heaven City. Chen Ge, did you find the zombies? Yang Hao and the other 2 came to Su Chen's side. After evolving to level 2, the 3 of them were eager to fight the zombies as soon as possible to prove their strength. We found a small group of zombies. It will take more than an hour for them to arrive. You should rest first, Su Chen replied. Got it, Chen Ge. The 3 of them retreated to the side and started to discuss something. Su Chen sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. After about 2 hours, the intelligent war chariot stopped a few hundred meters away from the Temple of Heaven City. Su Chen squinted and looked at the Temple of Heaven City. The gate of the Temple of Heaven City was open, and a large number of people were gathered at the gate. Outside the city, There was an army of zombies. There were at least 10,000 of them. Suchin felt that the scene was very strange. Normally, the weaker side would use the advantage of the city to defend themselves. Why would they rush out to fight the zombies? Wasn't it like throwing an egg against a rock? Wasn't it suicidal? Suchin looked at the scene for a while and found something interesting. Although the humans and the zombies were at loggerheads, they were in a stalemate. Both sides seemed to be restraining themselves. Are they negotiating? Suchin murmured. It was very unreasonable for both sides to not attack. That was why he had this idea. They're about to make a move, Wu Yang suddenly reminded. Suchin's heart skipped a beat, and he looked forward. A zombie with skin as black as ink walked out of the group of zombies, looking like a piece of charcoal. A woman in black walked out from the group of humans, followed by a male zombie. Seeing that, Suchin was a little confused. Humans and zombies working together to fight against zombies? It was unbelievable. Since when were humans and zombies so close? The others also noticed this and started to discuss it. Suchin, there are many zombies among the humans, but their relationship seems to be very good. Wu Yang pointed at a certain spot on the human side and reminded. Oh. Suchin raised his eyebrows and looked in the direction Wu Yang was pointing. Sure enough, he saw a dozen zombies mixed in the crowd. Moreover, not only were there no gaps between them, they were even talking about something. Their relationship seemed to be quite good. Could it be that they are all intelligent zombies? A dozen of them appeared all of a sudden? Suchin's jaw dropped slightly. Ordinary zombies couldn't talk, and only intelligent zombies could. However, a dozen of them appearing at once was a little too exaggerated. Moreover, even if they were intelligent zombies, they shouldn't be able to get along so well with humans, right? Suchin was getting more and more puzzled. Just as he was about to go over and take a look, he suddenly heard something. The other side had already made their move. The woman in black and the male zombie joined forces to deal with the charred zombie. Judging from the extent of their attacks, they both had the strength of level 3 evolvers. However, although they were at the same level, the charred zombie's strength was obviously stronger. His hands were as hard as iron, and there was a layer of black gas wrapped around them. Not only could it easily block weapons, but the black gas seemed to be a very fierce poisonous gas. The woman in black and the male zombie were very afraid. Chapter 245. Under such suppression, the woman in black and the male zombie were forced to retreat. It wouldn't be long before they were defeated. This charred black zombie is interesting. Suchin muttered and glanced at the control screen. Soon he noticed that there was a black, a blue, and a red dot entangled with each other on the control screen. He immediately understood that the black dot was the charred black zombie. He was also from another race. As for which race he was from, he didn't know. Satoshi, go take a look. Suchin ordered. He came here to kill zombies. It would be a waste of time to continue watching. It was meaningless. Yes. The intelligent chariot started moving and charged forward without hesitation. 10 seconds later, it rushed to the front of the zombies and humans. The appearance of the intelligent chariot immediately attracted the attention of both sides. It had to be said that the entrance of the intelligent chariot was domineering. It completely ignored the zombie army and humans. Seeing this, the charred black zombie and the other two people stopped fighting and looked at the intelligent chariot. Screech! With a sudden breaking sound, the intelligent chariot rushed to the middle of the humans and zombies. The moment the door opened, Suchin walked out slowly. Suddenly, all eyes were on Suchin. Who is he? How dare he come here? He's so young and handsome. What's the use of being handsome? We'll teach him a lesson later. When the humans saw a young and handsome man coming out of the car, they started whispering to each other. Human, what's your purpose here? The charred black zombie looked at Suchin and snorted. In his eyes, Suchin was very young and didn't look like a powerful person. However, he dared to come in the face of tens of thousands of zombies with a calm expression. He couldn't figure it out. There's only one purpose. Suchin stared at the charred black zombie, curled his lips and chuckled. Then I'm here to kill all of you. As soon as he said that, the crowd was in an uproar. Damn, where did this lunatic come from? Isn't he too good at acting cool? He's so handsome, but he's a fool. What a pity. Young people don't know the immensity of heaven and earth if they don't suffer some hardships. How can he boast to such an extent? Almost all of the humans were staring at Su Chen as if they were looking at an idiot. They all agreed that even if Su Chen was just acting tough, he would definitely die this time. Little brother, you'd better leave quickly. This is not a place where you can participate. The black-clothed woman didn't know why Su Chen was so arrogant, but since they were all humans, she still reminded him. You want to leave? Did this king agree? The scorched black zombie's eyes were cold as he sneered. Su Chen had declared that he would kill them. This was a very impressive act. However, he wanted to leave after acting tough. What did she take him for? At this moment, he'd already decided that no matter what Su Chen's background was, he would kill Su Chen on the spot. Did I say that I'm leaving? Su Chen rubbed his nose and said lightly, It seems that you want to fight with me. Are you in such a hurry to die? As soon as he said that, the humans couldn't stay calm anymore. Damn, isn't this guy too pretentious? Acting tough is also a skill, but you have to be alive to act tough. Chapter 246. How dare a mere human be so arrogant? You must be tired of living. Another charcoal-like zombie walked out of the group of zombies, but it was taller and bigger, and it didn't speak human language. You think you can do that? I can kill you with one hand. Su Chen spoke in the zombie's language with a look of contempt. How do you know the language of the undead? The tall zombie was stunned for a moment before he threatened, Tell me the truth, or I'll make you beg for death. Su Chen pursed his lips and said mockingly, Because I'm your ancestor. Of course I'll tell you. You must be tired of living. The tall zombie was enraged. He grabbed his mace and rushed toward Su Chen. We don't know who will die yet. Su Chen sneered and shot out an icicle. Psychic. As soon as the tall zombie saw Su Chen release a spell, it immediately became a little disdainful and smashed out with its mace. The strength of a psychic was that they could attack from a distance. The tall zombie was only a few meters away from Su Chen. At this distance, as long as he could block Su Chen's first wave of spells, he would be able to close in and kill Su Chen. However, the idea was beautiful, but the reality was cruel. Su Chen's icicle was a level 4 spell. Furthermore, it was combined with the mysterious ice of the netherworld. It was even stronger than a level 5 spell. The tall zombie was only a level 3 evolver. There was no way he could block the icicle. In the next moment, the tall zombie's mace hit the icicles that were flying towards him. However, the expected scene of the icicles shattering did not appear. On the contrary, the tall zombie's mace was broken by the icicle. Oh no! Seeing his weapon break, the tall zombie immediately realized that Su Chen's spell was definitely not a level 3 spell. Even a level 4 spell would not be able to break his weapon so easily. Could it be a level 5 spell? He was a level 5 mage? With this thought in mind, the tall zombie's expression changed drastically. He grabbed half of the mace and quickly retreated. However, before he could retreat a few steps, he was caught up by the icicle. Afterwards, he felt a bone-piercing coldness assault him. He was unable to move at all, and his consciousness gradually became muddy. Seeing this scene, the human side was in an uproar. *CK. Why is his icicle technique so powerful? Even a level 3 evolver was frozen into a popsicle. Could it be a level 4 spell? Even a level 4 spell wouldn't be this powerful. Oh my god, we were just mocking him for being pretentious. It turns out that he really has the ability to be pretentious. This guy is too handsome. If I were 10 years younger, I would definitely marry him. Bah, just based on an old onion like you, do you think she would take a liking to you? Charred Zombie and the other two were all shocked at this moment. Su Chen's strength had completely exceeded their expectations. Who would have thought that a young man who was not even 20 years old would have the ability to casually kill a level 3 evolver? It could be said that none of them were a match for Su Chen with his icicle technique. The scorched black zombie was even more worried. Su Chen had said that he would kill them all, and he had already proven that he had the ability to do so. What should he do then? Should he just sit there and wait for his death? Or should he put up a desperate struggle? Su Chen glanced around, and his eyes finally fell on the charred zombie. He could already tell that charred zombie was the leader of this zombie army. To catch bandits, one had to catch the leader first. To kill a zombie, one had to kill the strongest one first. Therefore, no matter what, charred zombie was his first target. Chapter 247. Being swept by Su Chen's gaze, the charred black zombie felt a chill run down his spine. As if sensing danger, he turned and ran towards the zombie horde. In his mind, as long as he escaped into the zombie horde, there would be many zombies to protect him. No matter how strong Su Chen was, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Do you think you can escape? Su Chen sneered disdainfully. Immediately, he released his spiritual power. On the other side, the charred black zombie had already stepped into the zombie horde with one foot. He originally thought that he was going to be safe. But in the next moment, he was shocked to find that his whole body was bound by a powerful invisible force. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't move at all. Moreover, under the guidance of this invisible force, he was flying uncontrollably towards Su Chen. In the face of this strange scene, everyone was stunned. In an instant, discussions broke out everywhere. What's going on? Why is the zombie leader flying over by himself? I know, he must be controlled by spiritual power. What? Spiritual power? Could it be that the young powerhouse is also a spiritual reader? He must be a spiritual reader, and a spiritual reader above level 4. Otherwise, how could he control a level 3 evolver? Oh my god! Isn't he a level 4 spiritual reader? How could he be a level 4 spiritual reader? This world is too crazy. After the woman in black and the male zombie looked at each other, they swallowed their saliva at the same time. Su Chen was a level 4 spiritual reader, there was no doubt about this. Then they thought of Su Chen's identity as a level 4 spiritual reader. They only felt a buzzing sound in their heads, as if they couldn't accept the reality in front of them. They knew better than anyone how difficult the path of cultivation was. Originally, they thought that with their status as level 3 evolvers, they were enough to be proud and worthy of being called geniuses. But the appearance of Su Chen was a huge blow to them. At the same time, they also knew what it meant to say that there was always someone better than you. Su Chen was not even 20 years old, but he was both a spellcaster and a telekinesis master, both of which had reached level 4. Just this point alone was enough to make people look up to him for a lifetime. When did such a monstrous figure appear in our human race? The black-clothed woman looked at Su Chen from afar and sighed deeply. Don't kill me. I'm from the undead race. If you kill me, you won't have a good ending. Seeing that Su Chen was about to bring him in front of him, the charred black zombie was scared out of his wits. He screamed loudly. As one of the 5 super races, the undead race was indeed worthy of Su Chen's attention. However, the charred black zombie was only a level 3 evolver. He was just a small fry in the undead clan. This kind of trash actually dared to speak such arrogant words and threaten him? You think too highly of yourself. Su Chen's face was full of disdain as he mocked, not to mention a piece of trash like you, even if you were a powerhouse from the undead clan, I would still kill you if I wanted to. Friend, let's talk nicely. It might be a misunderstanding between us. The corner of the scorched black zombie's mouth trembled. At this moment, he clearly felt the murderous intent in Su Chen's eyes. Even if he was from the undead race, he didn't dare to use this to threaten Su Chen. He was afraid that if he said something wrong, he would anger Su Chen and bring about a fatal disaster. Those who aren't of my race are bound to have different intentions. We're not friends. Su Chen curled his lips, stared at the eyes of the charred black zombie, and said in a deep voice, "How did you get in here? Don't hide anything, or I'll make you beg for death." Chapter 248. I'll tell you everything. Don't kill me. The charred zombie's face turned green as he begged for mercy. He did not care about Su Chen's words at all. A person who could easily kill a level 3 evolver could kill him with a flick of his finger. At least you know what's good for you. Su Chen snorted and said lightly, "Tell me, where is the boundary passage that connects here?" The only way to get from the undead continent to the mysterious heavenly continent was through the boundary passage. His goal was to find this realm passage and destroy it. The boundary passage is, as the charred zombie said this, a vicious look flashed across his eyes. When Su Chen was not paying attention, he opened his mouth and spat out a black mist. Soon he rushed in front of Su Chen. Without knowing what it was, Su Chen waved his hand and dispersed it. Ha! But at this moment, the charred zombie suddenly laughed wildly. You've been poisoned by the undead clan's natal corpse poison. No matter how powerful you are, you'll become a zombie and become a dog under my feet. Let me go now. The undead clan's natal corpse poison was hundreds and thousands of times more powerful than the zombie's corpse poison. Even the slightest bit of it would quickly turn one into a zombie. This was also the biggest reason why the undead clan could always be at the top of the myriad clans. Hearing this, the black-clothed woman and the male zombies' expressions changed. Although they were not familiar with Su Chen, they knew that Su Chen was here to kill the zombies, which was equivalent to helping them in disguise. Now that he had been poisoned by the undead clan's natal corpse poison, he would soon turn into a zombie. Without the help of a powerhouse like Su Chen, their situation could be imagined. Wu Yang and the others on the intelligent war chariot were also a little worried. If it was a head-on confrontation, Su Chen was an invincible existence. No one would be his opponent. But if it was poison, it was hard to say. After all, the corpse poison was too vicious. In their knowledge, anyone who was poisoned would turn into a zombie. Yang Lingtian knew that Su Chen had the antidote. When he was bitten by a level 2 zombie, he relied on Su Chen's medicine to neutralize the poison. However, could the undead's corpse poison be the same as the zombie's corpse poison? Would Su Chen's potion still work? He wasn't sure about this, so he was quite worried. A mere corpse poison wants to deal with me? Su Chen sneered. With the ancient god-fiend body, not only was he invincible among his peers, he was also immune to all poisons and evil. No matter how powerful the undead race's corpse poison was, it could not cause him the slightest bit of harm at all. Why didn't you become a zombie? The scorched zombie widened his eyes, and a deep doubt arose in his heart. Although his innate corpse poison was not as fierce as the clan's powerhouses, it still had some degree of maturity. In the past, when he fought against enemies, he relied on this innate corpse poison to turn many powerhouses into zombies. However, Su Chen was clearly poisoned as well. Why didn't he think about the process of turning into a zombie? I was born with a domineering body. I'm immune to all poisons in the world. Of course, an ant like you is ignorant. Su Chen sneered and immediately controlled his mental strength to tear off the scorched zombie's 2 arms. It was impolite not to reciprocate. Since the other party dared to play tricks on him, he naturally had to let the other party have a taste of his own means. Ah! The scorched zombie could not bear the pain and let out a heart-wrenching scream. Witnessing this scene, all the humans shuddered. Previously, Su Chen gave off an invincible aura of a powerhouse. But now, his brutal side was vividly displayed. It made everyone feel a chill in their hearts. Chapter 249. Now you should tell me the location of the interworld passage, right? Su Chen stared at the charred zombie and said sternly, "There is no interworld passage." When we entered, the interworld passage collapsed. Seeing Su Chen's eyes full of hostility, the charred zombie was so scared that the corners of his mouth trembled. He had just seen Su Chen's methods. It was too cruel, and he did not want to experience it again. Looks like you won't talk unless you suffer a little. Su Chen's face darkened. After he finished speaking, he manipulated his mind power again and let the charred zombie feel what it meant to be in heart-wrenching pain. He did not know if the other party was telling the truth, so he might as well use torture to force a confession. I'm telling the truth. With a series of crackling sounds of bones breaking, the charred zombie's body began to twist and deform, followed by a painful roar. Seeing this, everyone felt their scalps tingle. Especially those who had mocked Suchin before, they were so scared that they almost peed their pants. We, the undead clan, will not let you go. In the end, the charred zombie could not bear the pain and bit his tongue to commit suicide. F***CK. Suchin was so angry that he spat at the charred zombie's body. Because he did not kill it himself, he lost a chance to get a fragment, which made him very angry. Throwing the charred zombie aside, Suchin turned his eyes and glanced at a certain spot in the zombie crowd. Before he came, he saw from the central control screen that there were a total of 3 foreign race creatures here. Now 2 of them were dead, and the other one was still hiding in the zombie crowd. That undead clan member realized that Suchin was looking for him, and a strong sense of fear grew in his heart. He knew that if he fell into Suchin's hands, his end would be extremely miserable. So, he went all out and ordered all the zombies to attack Suchin. Roar! For a moment, the roars of the zombies shook the sky and the earth. Tens of thousands of zombies locked their eyes on Suchin, and their scarlet eyes revealed a bloodthirsty look. Kill him! The undead race member pointed at Suchin and shouted. All the zombies went crazy, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws at Suchin. Should we help? The woman in black asked the male zombie. The male zombie hesitated for a moment, then nodded slightly. Although the zombie army's target wasn't them, Suchin had helped them. Logically and emotionally, they couldn't just sit by and watch. However, before they could make a move, they were stunned by the scene before them. Suchin punched out, and a sky full of fist shadows inexplicably appeared in midair, pressing down on the incoming zombies with an earth-shattering force. Immediately after, a bone-chilling sound of bones cracking resounded throughout the world. Before the woman and the male zombie could react, they saw over 1,000 zombies fall in front of Suchin. 400 to 500 zombies were smashed into pieces and died on the spot. The rest of the zombies were also injured. Although they didn't die, they had lost their ability to fight. As for that undead clan member, he was directly smashed into pieces, leaving no trace of his body. Witnessing this shocking scene, everyone fell into a deep stupor. One punch, just one punch, could kill and injure over 1,000 zombies. It was too violent. It was a little too inconceivable. Chapter 250. Wu Yang and the others had seen Suchin's Pegasus Meteor Punch before, but they were too far away at that time, so they did not have the chance to experience it. At this moment, they clearly saw how terrifying this punch was. One punch turned into 100 punches. Every punch contained the full strength of a level 4 evolutionary. When they were combined, the power was multiplied. They even thought that a level 5 evolutionary would be defeated by such a punch. As for a level 6 evolutionary, even if they could withstand it, they would not have an easy time. He is also a powerful evolver. The woman in black regained her senses and murmured. The expression of the male zombie next to her changed. He opened his mouth wide and his jaw almost fell to the ground. Suchin had indeed used the strength of an evolutionary in that punch. Then, he remembered that Suchin was also a powerful magician and a telekinesis master. The male zombie seemed to realize something and shouted, "He's a full-time cultivator. All of them have reached level 4. Oh my God! How could there be such a monster in this world?" On the other side, after the undead was killed, the zombies returned to their original nature and attacked Suchin and the humans in Heaven Temple City. "Let's attack together and kill the zombies," the woman in black roared. Originally, she wanted to help Suchin, but now, she did not hesitate. The humans in Heaven Temple City received the order and took out their weapons, charging towards the zombies. At this moment, a war was about to break out. Suchin knew that the humans in Heaven Temple City had good intentions, but he did not want to see that happen. After all, if the zombies were killed by them, they would not drop any fragments. To him, it would be a huge loss. Get the F***ck into the city. Whoever dares to kill a zombie, I will kill his or her entire family. In a moment of desperation, Su Chen shouted at the humans in Heaven Temple City. Hearing that, the humans were dumbfounded. What was going on? We are here to help you, okay? Why do you want to kill our entire family? Although they could not understand, they did not dare to disobey Su Chen's order. Retreat to the city, don't kill the zombies. The black-clothed woman called out and led the humans into the city. She knew that if she didn't do as Su Chen said and angered him, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Chen's strength was enough to intimidate them. She even believed that even if all the people in Heaven Temple City were to join forces, they wouldn't be enough to kill Su Chen alone. Facing such a powerhouse, the best thing to do was to follow his advice. When all the humans retreated into the city, Wu Yang and the others quickly rushed down from the intelligent chariot and began to slaughter the zombies mercilessly. The intelligent war chariot went all out at this time. Every time the magnetic storm net was released, it would kill hundreds of zombies. The ungraded Gatling gun fired wildly, and a large number of zombies were turned into sieves, reaping the lives of the zombies non-stop. The humans of Heaven Temple City had just retreated into the city. When they saw the scene outside the city, they were all petrified. Strong. Too strong. His strength was boundless. That was their evaluation of Su Chen and the others. With the help of Wu Yang and the others and the intelligent war chariot, killing zombies became easier and faster. In just half an hour, more than 10,000 zombies were killed on the spot. Looking at the dazzling fragments on the ground, the corners of Su Chen's mouth slowly curled up. Then he began to pick up the fragments. Wu Yang and the others began to dig for energy stones. Chapter 251. Su Chen first picked up a green fragment. Picked up, Blade of Divine Sense, Fragment X1, 250. The fragments are not full, so it can't be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. The Blade of Divine Sense had been dropped when he was in the Huangzi mountain range, but it had never appeared again. After a little hesitation, Su Chen exchanged it for energy points. The Blade of Divine Sense should be a secret spiritual power technique, and the energy points required to exchange for it reached 5,000 points. Although it was not as good as the ancient God-Fiend body and the heavenly hundredfold strength technique. But it was obviously a very good thing. Considering that it would take a long time to collect all the fragments, he didn't know how long it would take. He decided to spend some energy points to exchange for it. Therefore, he only needed to keep one. Then, he continued to pick up fragments. The second was a purple fragment. Picked up Northern Ice, Fragment X1, 310. The fragments are not full, so it can't be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. The Northern Ice should be the same as the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity, which was an ice element manifestation. It appeared much earlier than the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity. But so far, only 3 fragments had been collected. On the contrary, the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity that appeared later had been collected and integrated into ice element magic. Then, he continued to pick up fragments. After picking up more than a dozen fragments in a row, the woman in black and the male zombie came over together. However, before they could get close, they were stopped by the mechanical soldiers. Su Chen also had something to ask them, so he let the mechanical soldiers let them go. "Senior, I'm Su Wuhua. Thank you for saving me," the woman in black said respectfully when she came to Su Chen's side. Su Wuhua looked to be in her 30s and had an ordinary appearance. Su Chen glanced at her, then shifted his gaze to the male zombie and muttered, "Can zombies coexist peacefully with humans?" The male zombie in front of him was inseparable from Su Wuhua, and they seemed to have a close relationship. This made him feel very strange. "Senior, his name is Wei Kanggang, and he is my husband. He is also an intelligent zombie," Su Wuhua explained. "Senior, thank you for saving my life." At this moment, Wei Kanggang also cupped his hands towards Su Chen to express his gratitude. Su Chen nodded and asked, Why are there so many intelligent zombies in Heaven Altar City? And they can even live together in harmony? Once a human becomes a zombie, even if they have intelligence, their temperament will change greatly. Logically speaking, it was absolutely impossible for them to continue coexisting with humans. Such a situation in the Temple of Heaven City was truly rare. Su Wuhua hurriedly explained, "Our bloodline is different from that of other humans. After being infected with corpse poison, although they will also turn into zombies, they will retain their intelligence and original temperament. So, other than the difference in status, everything else is the same as before. Aren't you humans? Why are their bloodlines different?" Su Chen exclaimed softly. He wondered if the bloodlines of Su Wuhua and the others had mutated. "Senior, we are indeed part of the human race, but there are many branches of the human race. Our race is a very small branch," Su Wuhua replied. This time, Su Chen finally understood. It was like Huaxia in his previous life. There were 56 ethnic groups, and other than the Han, the others were called ethnic minorities. Su Wuhua's race could also be considered an ethnic minority among the human race. Chapter 252. After figuring out what was going on, Su Chen asked, "Can I ask you something? Are there any zombies or mutant beasts nearby?" His purpose of coming here was to hunt zombies. After killing all the zombies here, he naturally needed to find the next batch. If they knew, it would save him a lot of time. "Senior, are you referring to a large number of zombies and mutant beasts?" Su Wuhua asked tentatively. "Yes." Su Chen nodded. After getting a positive answer from Su Chen, Su Wuhua said, "Blackstone City used to be a big city with a population of more than 100,000 people. But later, I heard that it fell. There should be a lot of zombies there." Blackstone City? Su Chen pondered and quickly recalled. Soon, he remembered that there was indeed a Blackstone City in the west of Chinyu Island. However, Blackstone City was almost at the edge of Chinyu Island and was only a few dozen miles away from the Forget Worries Sea outside Chinyu Island. "Well, I have nothing else. You can leave." Su Chen ordered them to leave. After learning that there were zombies in Blackstone City, he didn't want to continue chatting. After all, there were still a lot of fragments waiting to be picked up. "Senior, we'll take our leave." Su Wuhua and Wei Kanggang replied respectfully and then turned to walk into the city. Originally, they came here to express their gratitude to Su Chen and also to get closer to Su Chen. But seeing Su Chen's indifferent attitude, they dispelled the idea and left. After the two left, Su Chen continued to pick up fragments. Picked up, upgrade gem, fragment *111. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Picked up, sunflower seed, fragment *111. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Picked up, pet raising space, fragment *1010. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Pet raising space was a golden bracelet. When worn on the wrist, it would automatically integrate into the flesh and blood, which was the same as planting space. Its initial space was also 10 cubic meters, and its main function was to provide shelter for mutated beasts. Wearing the pet feeding space on his wrist, Su Chen continued to pick up fragments. More than an hour later, all the fragments had been collected. Su Chen returned to the intelligent war chariot and started counting his gains. This time, more than 1,000 fragments were dropped, and most of them were exchanged for energy points. The total amount of energy points reached 1,400 points. Other than that, there weren't many other rewards. Only a few level-up gems dropped. Su Chen used 2 upgrade gems to expand the planting space to 50 cubic meters. Then he planted all the newly obtained seeds. He also checked on the longevity fruit tree. Seeing that there was nothing wrong, he closed the planting dimension. Since Wu Yang and the others were still digging for energy stones, Su Chen took advantage of this time to look at the topographic map of Thousand Feather Island. After another 2 hours, all the energy stones were dug out. Wu Yang and the others got on the chariot one after another. Su Chen let the intelligent war chariot lock on the location of Black Rock City and went straight to Black Rock City. When the intelligent war chariot disappeared from sight, Wei Kengang sighed with emotion. Who are they? Why are they so powerful? Su Wuhuan narrowed her eyes and thought about it. Su Chen's appearance made her see what a real genius was. At the same time, she also realized that the human clan was not as weak as she thought. They could also produce super masters. Chapter 253. After leaving the Temple of Heaven City, the intelligent war chariot drove for more than an hour, and the sky gradually darkened. Su Chen stopped the intelligent war chariot and began to prepare dinner. After dinner, everyone gathered together and chatted for a while before going to rest. The next day, the intelligent war chariot continued its journey. When it entered an abandoned town, it discovered something very strange. Piles of white bones were scattered all over the town. There were at least 1,000 of them. Moreover, there were not only human skeletons, but also many mutated beasts and zombies. Su Chen observed through the control screen for a while and did not find anything strange, so he did not pay too much attention to it. After that, the intelligent war chariot continued to move forward. After driving for more than 2 hours, Su Chen felt that something was wrong. During this period, many skeletons were found along the way, but there were no traces of humans or zombies. It was as if all the humans and zombies in the vicinity had been killed. Su Chen frowned and stared at the control screen, but he did not see any blue or red dots. The intelligent war chariot's detection range was up to 200 kilometers, which meant that there were no humans or zombies within 200 kilometers. This kind of situation had never happened before. Moreover, along the way, the detection range was more than 200 kilometers, but there were still no signs of humans or zombies. This was too strange. What happened? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. At this moment, the intelligent war chariot suddenly reminded him, "Master, there are mutated creatures appearing 180 kilometers ahead." Hearing this, Su Chen raised his eyebrows and hurriedly looked at the control screen. Soon, he found that there were indeed more than 10 black dots on the control screen. In front of the black dots, there was a large red dot. Both sides were in a chase, and their speed was very fast, almost reaching the speed of a level 4 evolver. It seems that the mutated creatures are chasing after a mutated beast, Su Chen muttered. The red dot on the control screen was very large, and it was definitely not a zombie. It was most likely a mutated beast with a large body. Moreover, judging from the way both sides were running, the mutated beast was being chased. Satoshi, lock onto them, let's go and take a look. Killing mutated beasts and mutated creatures would drop fragments, and it happened to be on the way to Black Rock City, so there was no need to change direction. Su Chen also wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. Roger that. After receiving the order, the intelligent war chariot accelerated. Half an hour later, when the distance between the two sides was less than 10 kilometers, Su Chen noticed that the red dot on the control screen had stopped and was surrounded by a circle of black dots. Then, both sides were entangled with each other. After a while, the red dot disappeared from the central control screen. This meant that the mutant beast had been killed. The war chariot, when the mutated beasts. How strong was the mutated creatures? How strong was the mutated creature that mutated creatures? Su Chen guessed that either the creatures were all level 3 or above, or one of them was abnormally strong. Otherwise, it was impossible to kill a level 3 mutated beast in such a short time. But no matter what the situation was, he was not afraid. With his current strength, even if he met a level 5 evolver, he could easily kill them. Just a dozen mutated creatures were nothing in his eyes. Chapter 254. Satoshi, speed up. Su Chen ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the target and sped forward. Qinggu, have you found any mutated creatures? Yang Hao and the other two gathered in front of Su Chen. They were all eager to try. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian were also rubbing their hands together. After leveling up, they were full of confidence. They felt that killing ordinary zombies was not satisfying enough. They all wanted to fight against powerful mutated creatures. Yes, we found a dozen mutated creatures. Su Chen nodded and said in a deep voice, "We will meet them later. Don't get out of the car yet. Let me assess them first." Those mutated creatures could kill mutated beasts above level 3. They were too strong. He did not dare to let Yang Hao and the others take the risk. "Oh." Yang Hao nodded and was slightly disappointed. "Master, we are about to reach the target location." 10 minutes later, the intelligent war chariot reminded him. Hearing this, Su Chen focused his eyes and looked forward. He saw a mutated beast lying on the ground like a small mountain about 100 meters away. Moreover, there were more than a dozen black shadows lying on the mutated beast. As he got closer, he could clearly see that the dozen or so shadows all had human faces. However, their faces were abnormally pale. Their bodies were abnormally tall. Each of them was more than 2 meters tall. The biggest one was almost 3 meters tall. The strangest thing was that they all had a pair of black wings on their backs. They were very similar to the wings of bats. "Chingu, what kind of monsters are they? Why are they eating the mutated beast raw?" Seeing those mutated creatures eating the mutated beast nonstop, and in the blink of an eye, half of the mutated beast was devoured. Yang Hao's face changed. Su Chen also saw it. His heart was moved. He was now suspicious. Could the bones he saw along the way be the work of these mutated creatures? If so, these mutated creatures' tastes were too strong. Eating humans and mutated beasts was understandable, but not zombies. Had they gone crazy from hunger? Su Chen, that mutant beast seems to be a level 4 iron tower with divine bull. Wu Yang reminded with a serious expression. Level 4 mutated beast. Yang Hao and the others were a little nervous. Just how strong were these foreign creatures if they could even kill a level 4 mutated beast? Could it be level 5? Previously, they were eager to give it a try, but now they were afraid. "Looks like I'm right," Su Chen muttered. Previously, he had suspected that there were level 5 creatures among the foreign races. Now, it seemed that he was most likely right. They are flying over. The corner of Yang Hao's mouth twitched. The appearance of the intelligent war chariot naturally attracted the attention of the foreign races. They spread their wings and flew above the intelligent war chariot, forming an encirclement. "Little Tai, follow me down and take a look." Su Chen rubbed his nose and got down from the chariot with this mechanical soldier. This mechanical soldier had already been upgraded to level 4. Plus, it was made of metal. It could even fight against a level 5 evolved being. "Ah, there's actually fresh meat being sent to us. Today's luck is not bad." In mid-air, the 3-meter-tall mutated creature sized up Su Chen and laughed. The language it used was not human language, but Su Chen could understand it. "Ah." Su Chen laughed contemptuously and said in the creature's language, "You bunch of trash want to treat me as food? Do you have the ability?" Chapter 255. How arrogant! The creature that spoke first snorted coldly before its expression froze. "Human, why do you know the language of the blood tribe?" Yang Hao and the others in the car were also stunned. This was the first time they had seen Su Chen talk to a mutated creature. "Chen Gu can speak our language?" Yang Hao's eyes widened. Sure, Dainio beside him said seriously, "Chen Ji's awesomeness isn't something ordinary people like us can understand. I think there's nothing in this world that Chen Gu doesn't understand." Chao Ran and Yang Hao looked at each other, their mouths slightly agape. Sure, Dainio in the past wouldn't have said something like this. Could it be that he was influenced by us? Outside the car, Su Chen glanced at the vampire and snorted. "I know a lot of things. Do I have to tell you everything? You're just a vampire, do you think you're worthy? You're courting death." The tall vampire was instantly enraged. He gritted his teeth so hard that they creaked. Vampires weren't the most powerful race among the 10,000 races, but they were still one of the best. Humans were recognized as the weakest race among the 10,000 races. In his eyes, humans were like ants, or rather, food. How dare an ant like him mock vampires? He was simply courting death. Take him down. The tall vampire licked his lips and gave a signal to the vampire beside him. Immediately, four vampires flew toward Su-Chen. From the aura they emitted, Su-Chen judged that they were all level 3 evolvers. Facing the siege of 4 level 3 evolvers, anyone else would have panicked. However, Su-Chen was calm, and there was even a hint of disdain on his face. As he released his spiritual energy, he held the enchanted sword and swung it horizontally. The 4 members of the Blood Clan flew in front of Su-Chen. Just as they were about to attack, it was as if they had fallen into a swamp. Even moving their fingers was abnormally difficult. Level 4 Spirit Reader. When they realized this, their eyes were filled with fear. The strength of a level 4 Spirit Reader is not something they can contend with. And once they were restricted, it was easy to imagine what they would face in the future. The 4 members of the Blood Clan didn't want to wait for death, so they struggled with all their might. However, Su-Chen did not give them a chance at all. With a slash of the enchanted magic saber, he cut off their heads cleanly. Just as their corpses fell to the ground, 4 beams of light flashed. Seeing this, Su-Chen's lips curled up. Then, he looked at the tall Blood Clan member and sneered, "The Blood Clan is just as..." The tall Blood Clan member gritted his teeth with a ferocious expression. The death of his clansman made him abnormally angry, but the strength that Su-Chen displayed made him even more surprised. A level 4 Spirit Reader and a level 4 Evolver, with 2 major professions. Such a genius had never appeared even in the Blood Clan. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. It turns out that you have some ability. The tall Blood Clan member's eyes were cold as he whispered. Then he sneered and said, "However, I don't care about this little bit of strength. Today, I'll let you see what true strength is." As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. The strength of a level 5 evolver was undeniable. What a powerful aura! Wu Yang and the others in the intelligent war chariot were shocked. They couldn't help but sweat for Su-Chen. "Ah, human, feel what despair is." The tall Blood Clan member laughed wildly and pounced towards Su-Chen. Chapter 256. This guy sure knows how to show off. Su-Chen pursed his lips. After infusing the lightning element spell into the enchanted sword, he slashed at the vampire. The tall vampire had just reached Su-Chen when he suddenly saw a flash of lightning appear in front of him. Then this flash of lightning became brighter and brighter and thicker. Finally, it turned into a blue torrent that was as thick as a bowl and flew towards him. Feeling the terrifying waves of lightning within the blue torrent, the tall vampire was stunned for a moment. Then he shouted with a face full of fear, "Lightning element spell. You're also a spiritual psychic." He never would have thought that Su-Chen was not only a telekinesis master and an evolver, but also a spiritual psychic. Moreover, the lightning element spell that he released had completely surpassed level 4 and was even slightly stronger than a level 5 spell. It was terrifying to think about. This young human in front of him had 3 major professions, and his cultivation as a spiritual psychic might even be at level 5. Facing a demon-like existence like Su-Chen, even the tall vampire, who thought highly of himself, felt a deep sense of fear. In fact, Su-Chen's spiritual psychic was only at level 4, and the spell that he released was comparable to a level 5 spell. This was because the lightning element spell was infused with the Baron Thunder. Lightning element spell was the nemesis of vampires. A level 5 lightning element spell was enough to cause fatal damage to a vampire. That was why the tall blood race member was so fearful and even had the thought of immediately escaping from this place. However, the distance between the 2 parties was too close. It was obviously too late for him to escape or hide. Left with no choice, The tall vampire could only grit his teeth and block with his arms in front of his body to block the blue torrent formed by the lightning element spell. The next moment, the blue torrent slammed into the Gundam vampires, instantly drowning them in a sea of lightning. Then there was the sound of thunder. The tall vampire was directly sent flying. After landing on the ground, both of his arms were a mess of flesh and blood. His body was also charred. The vampire's physique originally had very strong self-healing abilities. However, under the ravaging of the lightning element spell, there were no signs of recovery. Pooh! The tall blood race member fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura was extremely weak, and it seemed that he wouldn't be able to survive. The remaining 8 members of the Blood Clan who were flying in the air witnessed this scene. Their eyes were filled with a deep layer of fear, and they all began to tremble. Su Chen's strength was something they had never seen before, killing a level 5 evolver with just a wave of his hand. This kind of terrifying strength was not something they could fight against. When they realized this, they all flew backwards at the same time. You want to run? Can you run away? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and punched out from afar. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of fist shadows appeared in the air and whizzed toward the 8 Blood Clan members. Bang, bang, bang. Amidst a series of explosions, the 8 Blood Clan members were smashed to smithereens, leaving behind only 8 beams of light that slowly drifted down from the sky. 8 fragments. Su Chen's mouth revealed a hint of joy. When the tall vampire lying on the ground saw this scene, he couldn't take it anymore. His head tilted to the side and he died. Wu Yang, who was in the car, saw Su Chen kill all the Blood Clan members in an instant and took a deep breath. He couldn't help but recall the evaluation of Su Chen from before. Invincible among those of the same level, killing enemies of a higher level is as easy as pie. Su Chen's strength is not something we can reach. Chapter 257. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief, squinted his eyes, and glanced around. A smile immediately appeared at the corners of his mouth. He had killed a total of 12 vampires, but 12 fragments had dropped. The probability of fragments dropping was as high as 100%, which had never happened before. Moreover, among these 12 fragments, there were 10 colorful fragments. The colorful fragments could currently drop 3 things, namely Upgrade Gem, Fusion Gem, and Magic Fusion Gem. Every single one of them was extremely valuable. Then, Su Chen retracted his gaze and began to pick up the fragments happily. The first was a black fragment. Picked up, Time Accelerator, Fragment *1, 100. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Time Accelerator was something that appeared for the first time. Although he did not know what it was used for, Su Chen was shocked by the terrifying number. Time Accelerator required 100 fragments to be used, and the number was already comparable to ancient God Fiend Body. Su Chen hurriedly opened Doomsday Mall to check. When he saw that Time Accelerator's exchange points were 10,000 energy points, he was shocked. Ancient God Fiend Body's exchange points were also 10,000 energy points. Since the number of exchange points and fragments were the same, didn't it mean that Time Accelerator was also an extremely powerful item? Thinking of this, Su Chen was a little expectant. However, 10,000 energy points was not a small number after all, and it was impossible to obtain so many energy points in a short period of time. In addition, even if he wanted to exchange, he had to wait a little. There were still Heavenly Hundredfold Strength Technique and Blade of Divine Sense waiting to be exchanged. After calming down, he continued to pick up fragments. The second fragment was also a black fragment. Picked up Sora Oi Blow-Up Doll, *111. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su Chen's expression became a lot more strange, and after a little hesitation he exchanged it for energy points. He did not expect that the fragments could drop a blow-up doll, and it was the old teacher's. If he had to live alone in the apocalypse, he might have considered staying. But it was different now. He had two beauties, Tan Lin and Yang Qian, by his side. There was no need for an inflatable doll. The *CK, the items dropped by the fragments are getting more and more evil. Luckily, I have enough willpower. Otherwise, I would have fallen for it. The appearance of that Sora Aoi blow-up doll made Su Chen's heart itch, and he couldn't help but grumble. After a while, he cast aside all distracting thoughts and continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up, upgrade gem, fragment *111. The fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. The remaining 10 colored shards were all upgrade gems, which made Su Chen a little excited. After putting all the upgrade gems into his storage bag, he returned to the intelligent war chariot. As for the corpse of the Iron Tower with Divine Bull, he couldn't be bothered to take it since it had already been eaten by the Blood Tribe. Chingu, you are becoming more and more awesome. Killing a level 5 evolved being is like playing around. As soon as Su Chen boarded the car, Yang Hao and the other two came up to greet him. Their admiration for him was beyond words. Work hard, you guys can do it too. Su Chen smiled, turned around and walked to the central control screen. After glancing at it, he ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, target Blackrock City, continue on your way. The intelligent war chariot started moving and headed towards Blackrock City. As it was quite far from Blackrock City, it would take at least 4 to 5 days to arrive. During this time, Su Chen didn't want to be idle, so he once again searched for the whereabouts of the zombies. Chapter 258. However, everything was calm on the screen. There was not even a shadow of a zombie. Su Chen immediately thought that the vampires must have killed them all. There were no more zombies to kill, so he closed his eyes and rested. The next day, there were still no signs of zombies. Su Chen felt bored, so he took out a deck of poker cards and taught Yang Hao and the others how to play Do Diju. This deck of poker cards was also dropped by the shards. In his previous life, Su Chen liked to play poker, so he kept it. He did not expect that it would come in handy today. Do Diju was a simple game and easy to learn. Yang Hao and the others learned it quickly, and they were deeply immersed in it, unable to pull themselves out. 10J, Q, K. There's only one left. Chingu, do you want it? If not, I'm leaving. Yang Hao said proudly. In this round he and Chao Ran were farmers, and he was Chao Ran's subordinate. Even if Su Chen blew him up, he was not afraid, because Chao Ran would let him go. Moreover, he believed that Su Chen would not dare to blow him up. Su Chen looked at the cards in his hand. He only had 2 kings left, an A and a 3. If he blew them up, he would most likely lose. Because there were still 4 2s outside, and they might be in Chao Ran's hands. Su Chen, let's not play. Tan Lin whispered into Su Chen's ear. After watching for a while, she also knew how to play. She also knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for Su Chen. If Su Chen did not blow him up, he would lose 3 points at most, but if he blew him up, he might lose double. Su Chen also knew this, so he said, "No, you can go." After saying that, he was ready to admit defeat. Unexpectedly, Chao Ran suddenly laughed and winked at Su Chen. "Chingu, although you're good at fighting, Fight the Landlord is a game of brains. Accept the punishment from me, Chao Ran." As soon as he finished speaking, he threw out 4 2s. A bomb. No one noticed that when Chao Ran threw out the bomb, Yang Hao's face became extremely ugly. Su Chen rubbed his nose and inwardly said, "Not only does this guy know how to gouge people's eyeballs, he's also quite ruthless in playing landlord." A 3, game over. Chao Ran threw out a 3, his face brimming with a bright smile. Suddenly, a voice as soft as a mosquito entered everyone's ears. Chao Ran was stunned for a moment. He looked at Yang Hao in a daze and whispered, "I'll throw out a 3, you don't want it?" Yang Hao glared at Chao Ran and said snappily, "I'm not deaf, I don't want it." This time, it was Su Chen's turn to laugh. He already knew that Chao Ran only had a 3 left in his hand, and it would definitely not run away. "That's great." Yang Qian cried out happily. This situation was undoubtedly the most advantageous for Suchin. As long as Suchin could win, she would be happier than anyone else. She even ignored that the person who was going to lose was her own brother. When Xiao Ran heard that Yang Hao really didn't want it, he was dumbfounded on the spot. Because after throwing out this 3, he only had a small 4 left in his hand. Did he expect Suchin to let him go? Obviously, it was impossible. He was now full of regret. He felt like he had lifted a rock and smashed it on his own foot. If he knew that Yang Hao only had a 3 left, he wouldn't have thrown out the bomb. Suchin cleared his throat and began to speak with assurance. You have to remember the cards when playing landlord. I've already calculated that you still have a bomb in your hand, and I've been waiting for this moment. Accept the punishment of fate. Then, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Suchin threw out his trump card. Ah! Yang Hao screamed, and then sighed with emotion. I'm not afraid of a godlike opponent, but I'm afraid of a pig-like teammate. Xiao Ran next to him was silent, and his face turned green. Chapter 259. Ever since he learned how to play Do Diju, the car was filled with laughter. Moreover, he had to admit that Do Diju was very charming. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian, the 2 older people, would sometimes play a few rounds. Suchin played a few rounds, then gave the chance to the others. He would chat with Yang Qian and Tan Lin, or look at the central control screen to find the zombies. Behind, the intelligent war vehicle followed the original route, while the others played Do Diju to pass the time. On the 3rd day, there were finally traces of zombies on the central control screen. There were not many of them, only about 100 or so. Moreover, Suchin also found that there were hundreds of humans in the same place as the zombies. The 2 sides did not seem to be in a state of killing each other, and they seemed to be in harmony. This situation made Suchin a little confused. He suspected that these humans were the same as those in Heaven Altar City. After being infected, they could also live together peacefully. If that was the case, he would not kill these zombies. Because other than their different identities, they also had human emotions. Killing them was the same as killing humans. But whether this was the case or not, he still needed to take a look to know. Anyway, they were just on the route, so Suchin decided to take a look. Satoshi, lock on the position of these zombies and go immediately. The intelligent war vehicle sped up and overtook the zombies. Half an hour later, the intelligent war vehicle came to a stop in front of a small village. Suchin glanced at the small village and saw several zombies standing at the intersection, like guards. When they saw the intelligent war vehicle, they roared together. One of the zombies roared, turned around and ran into the village. They are all ordinary zombies. Suchin muttered, opened the door, got out of the car, and walked towards the zombies at the intersection. Based on the reactions of these zombies, he judged that none of them had intelligence. In this way, his previous guess was not valid. Of course, he would not let the zombies here go. When the zombies saw a human walking towards them, they roared even more fiercely. But surprisingly, none of the zombies rushed towards Suchin, as if they were restrained by something. Suchin had experienced this situation once in Full Moon City. At that time, the zombies there were restrained by Jiang Qingfeng, just like now. It seems that there is still an intelligent zombie in the village. Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered. At this moment, more than 20 zombies walked out of the village. The leader of the group was a zombie wearing a green lab coat. Its face was dark, but its eyes were bright and full of vigor. After coming to the intersection, the green-clothed zombie looked at Suchin. His face suddenly changed, and then he said respectfully, "Senior, what brings you to our Yangjiapu?" "N." Suchin raised an eyebrow and asked, "You can see my cultivation base?" Generally speaking, it to see a person to be, to see to. But the green-clothed zombie could see it at a glance, which made him feel very strange. The green-clothed zombie explained in fear and trepidation, "Senior, I have a special ability. As long as we are within a certain distance, I can feel the other person's cultivation." "Then can you feel what my cultivation level is?" Su-chin suddenly became interested. The green-clothed zombie narrowed his eyes, and soon a strange light flashed in his eyes. Then he said, "Level 4 Evolver, Level 4 Magician, Level 4. At this point, the green-clothed zombie opened his mouth wide, and his face was full of shock and disbelief. After looking at Su-chin in a daze, he said involuntarily, "Senior, you are a full-time cultivator? And you have reached Level 4? Chapter 260. Su-chin smiled and declined to comment. Then, he looked at the green-clothed zombie again and said lightly, "Your ability is quite strange. I have never heard of it before. It's just a small trick. It's not worthy of Senior's attention." After knowing Su-chin's true strength, the green-clothed zombie became more respectful, but at the same time, his heart became uneasy. After all, humans and zombies were like fire and water. If Su-chin wanted to kill him, he wouldn't even have a chance to resist. "What is the relationship between the humans in the village and you?" Su-chin stared at the green-clothed zombie and asked. Hearing this, the green-clothed zombie's eyes flashed with a trace of panic, and his face slightly changed. He didn't understand. Su-chin clearly didn't enter the village. How could he know everything inside? However, he didn't have time to think about it, because Su-chin's eyes were already looking at him with some impatience. Replying to Senior, "The people in the village have a strange disease. They have lost their consciousness. I am trying to find a way to save them." The green-clothed zombie hurriedly replied, "Zombies saving humans?" This joke wasn't funny at all. Of course, Su-chin didn't believe it, lightly snorted and said, "I hate people lying to me the most. Those who lie to me don't have a good ending." The green-clothed zombie knew that Su-chin was threatening him, so he gritted his teeth and explained, "Senior, what I said is true, because I was originally from the Yang family fort. Although I became a zombie, I don't want the villagers to be harmed." This kind of nonsense could only fool a 3-year-old child. If he wanted to fool Su-chin, it was no different from wishful thinking. Because once turned into a zombie, even if they had intelligence, their temperament would change greatly, and they would never have any good feelings towards humans. Of course, the humans in Temple of Heaven City with special bloodlines were an exception. And the green-clothed zombie in front of him definitely didn't have that kind of bloodline. If that was the case, then everything he said would be a lie. "Looks like, if I don't make you suffer, you won't be willing to speak the truth." Su-chin snorted and immediately released his spiritual power to bind the green-clothed zombie. Feeling an invisible force attacking his body, the green-clothed zombie's expression changed greatly. He hurriedly begged for mercy, "Senior, please calm down. What I said is true. You won't shed tears until you see the coffin." Su-chin's eyes turned cold. He manipulated his spiritual force and directly tore off one of the green-clothed zombie's arms. The green-clothed zombie roared in pain. Su-chin remained unmoved. When he was about to eat the other arm of the green-clothed zombie, he suddenly discovered a very strange thing. The green-clothed zombie's wound was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The speed was so fast that it was almost the same as drinking a healing potion. "You also have a healing body?" Su-chin's expression changed. The healing body, as the name suggested, had the ability to heal itself. Moreover, there were strong and weak abilities. It was rumored that those who had a strong healing body would never die as long as they weren't killed in one blow. Even if they were cut off, they could automatically regenerate. The green-clothed zombie in front of him had a weaker ability to heal. He could only heal wounds, but he didn't have the ability to regenerate broken limbs. Even so, it was still very impressive. "You're making it more and more difficult for me to see through you." Su-chin rubbed his nose and said in a deep voice. Not only did the green-clothed zombie have the ability to sense cultivation, but he also had a healing body. It completely overturned his understanding of zombies. Chapter 262. Human, there are many things that you can't see through. Don't be too smug. The zombie in green seemed to know that he couldn't survive. He wasn't afraid anymore and even mocked Su-chin. "Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you?" Su-chin frowned slightly. He always felt that the green zombie's words had a threatening meaning. However, he could kill him easily. What right did the zombie have to threaten him? Ha! The zombie in green sneered. If I didn't say that, would you let me go? Listening to the other party's words, Suchin wondered if he knew that he was going to die, so he decided to go all out? He couldn't be bothered to guess if that was the case. He raised his hand and shot out a wind blade, cutting off the zombie in green's head. The moment the zombie in green fell, the rest of the zombies regained their original nature and pounced on Suchin. Even the zombies in the village rushed over together with them. Suchin used a few spells and killed them all easily. Looking at a few rays of light on the ground, he was about to pick them up when a ray of red light suddenly shot out from the zombie in green's corpse and charged toward him. It happened so suddenly, and the red light was as fast as lightning. Suchin didn't have time to defend himself. However, he didn't care. After his cultivation had advanced to level 4, the strength of his physical body had also increased accordingly. In addition, the most important point was that at level 4, the ancient godfiend body would be immune to any level 4 attacks, and even level 5 attacks would at most cause him some injuries. Although the red light was fast, the power it emitted was definitely below level 5. Even a level 4 would have a hard time dealing with it. Suchin didn't have to worry about anything. In the next moment, the red light directly hit Suchin's chest. It was like hitting a steel plate, making a loud bang sound, and then it was bounced back. Suchin narrowed his eyes and locked onto the red light. Soon, a crimson worm that was half a meter long and emitting a red glow appeared in his vision. It looked like a giant maggot, very disgusting. Suchin didn't know what kind of bug this was, but since it dared to sneak attack him, he naturally wouldn't let it go. His mental strength instantly spread out and lifted the red worm into the air. "Senior, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please let me go this time." After struggling for a while, the crimson worm realized that it could not break free from the shackles and started to beg for mercy. The voice sounded exactly the same as the green-clothed zombie that had been killed. Suchin exclaimed softly. He sized up Crimson Bug and snorted, "It seems that the zombie is controlled by you." The Crimson Bug and the green-clothed zombie had the same voice. After the green-clothed zombie died, the Crimson Bug did not die. Because of this, he became suspicious. Senior's eyes are sharp. That zombie was indeed under my control. Shuegu had learned his lesson this time. He did not dare to hide anything and answered honestly. "Stop flattering me." Suchin's face darkened, and he said coldly, "Which race do you belong to? Tell me the truth." "I'm from the Blood Clan." Crimson Bug was so scared that he shivered. "You're from the Blood Clan too? Why are you different from the Blood Clan?" Suchin asked in a deep voice. Not only had he seen the Blood Clan, but he had also killed more than 10 of them. Crimson Bug also claimed to be from the Blood Clan. However, judging from their appearances, they were completely different races. "Senior, you've seen the Blood Clan?" Crimson Bug was surprised. "Do I need to report to you whether I've seen them or not?" Suchin's voice turned cold. He stared at Crimson Bug and snorted, "Answer my question now." Chapter 263. Back in the car, Suchin ordered, "Satoshi, continue to the Black Rock City." After that, he sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. However, there was always a smile on the corner of his mouth. This time, although there were not many zombies killed and only a few fragments were dropped, there was a purple gold fragment, which undoubtedly made him very satisfied. The intelligent war chariot moved forward slowly. The others had nothing to do, so they gathered together to play landlord as usual. In the next 3 days, Suchin did not kill any zombies. It was not that he did not encounter any zombies, but the number of zombies was too small. The most he encountered was 30 or 40 zombies, which was not worth killing. On the 4th day, the Black Rock City finally appeared on the central control screen. The intelligent war chariot's detection range was 200 kilometers, which meant that it was less than 200 kilometers away from the Black Rock City. Suchin was a little excited and looked at the Black Rock City. When he saw that there was not a single red dot in the Black Rock City, only a few blue dots, his face became a little stiff. No red dots meant that there were no zombies. They had come all the way here just to kill zombies. Now that there was not a single zombie to be seen, what was there to kill? These days were equivalent to wasting time. What happened? Su Chen pondered. Previously, Su Wuhua said that there were more than 100,000 humans in the Black Rock City, but it was later captured by zombies. In this way, the number of zombies should have reached a terrifying number. The current situation was a little strange. After pondering for a while, he still decided to go to the Black Rock City to take a look. He suspected that the zombies in the Black Rock City were likely to have left. If he could find some clues and follow the clues, there was still a chance to find the whereabouts of the zombies. 2 hours later, the intelligent war chariot slowly drove in front of a huge city. This city was the Black Rock City. This city is so big. Chow ran side with emotion. The Black Rock City, in terms of scale, was even larger than the King Kong City. It was a magnificent sight. The city walls were made of some black boulders, and each boulder weighed about several tons. However, Black Rock City was severely damaged. Most of the city walls had collapsed, and most of the buildings in the city were in ruins. It was as if a great battle had taken place. Su Chen let the intelligent chariot stop in front of a collapsed city wall. After getting out of the car, he entered the city through the collapsed area. This time, he entered mainly to find the few humans here and ask them about the situation. Therefore, the others were left in the car. Through the observation on the central control screen, Su Chen locked onto the specific location of the few humans. Then he sped up and rushed towards them. 10 minutes later, he appeared in front of a small building. This small building was relatively well preserved. It was surrounded by a wall made of stones, and some crops were planted inside. Su Chen glanced around and walked straight to the entrance of the courtyard. He shouted inside, "Is anyone there?" Since he was here to inquire about the situation, it was inconvenient for him to barge in. Soon, a stooped old man walked out of the small building. He first glanced outside vigilantly, then shouted at Su Chen, "Who are you?" "Old man, I'm just a passerby. I have something to ask you. Don't worry, I won't disturb you for long. In addition, I will pay some energy stones as a reward," Su Chen said loudly. The stooped old man hesitated for a moment, then walked forward to open the courtyard door. When he saw that there was only Su Chen outside, and that he was very young, he was slightly relieved. "Young man, what's the matter?" Chapter 264. Out of caution, the old man didn't invite Su Chen into the house. Su Chen could understand and didn't mind. He asked, "Weren't there a lot of zombies here before? Why are there no zombies now?" "There used to be a lot of zombies here, but they were all attacked by the sea beasts and ran away," the old man replied. Su Chen's eyes lit up. He asked urgently, "How many sea beasts were there? Did they come from the Forgotten Worries Sea?" The sea beasts were actually a type of mutant beast, but one lived in the sea while the other lived on land. Su Chen thought that since the mutant beasts could drop fragments, killing the sea beasts should also drop fragments. In this way, even if he couldn't kill any zombies, killing some sea beasts would be worthwhile. The sea beasts do live in the Forgotten Worries Sea, and their numbers have reached a terrifying level. "I'm afraid there are millions of them," the old man said in a deep voice. "Millions of them? How many fragments could he get if he killed all of them?" Su Chen was excited. He continued to ask, "Why did the sea beasts attack the zombies here?" Normally, the sea beasts wouldn't go ashore easily. It was even rarer for them to take the initiative to attack zombies. The hunchbacked old man thought for a while and replied, "I heard it from someone else. It seems that the leader of the zombies stole an egg from a sea demon beast and was retaliated by the sea demon beast." Su Chen frowned and asked, "Old man, did you just say that one sea beast drove away all the zombies here?" There were at least tens of thousands of zombies in the Black Rock City, and one sea beast was able to drive them away? How strong was this sea demon beast? It must be at least a level 5 sea beast. The hunchbacked old man nodded. There is indeed one. However, that sea demon beast is extremely powerful. I heard that it has already reached level 5. As expected, Suchin said to himself. He continued to ask, what kind of sea beast was it? Where did it usually live? The hunchbacked old man was slightly surprised. He always felt that Suchin seemed to be very interested in the sea beasts. He then asked, young man, why are you asking about the whereabouts of the sea demon beasts? You're not going to hunt it, are you? After he finished speaking, even he himself was shocked. A level 5 sea demon beast couldn't even hide from him. Who would want to die to hunt him down? Suchin smiled but did not explain. He continued, Elder, just tell me. The hunchbacked old man didn't think too much about it and said directly, he's a giant tortoise, the size of a house. Every day at noon, I would go to the beach to bask in the sun for a while. The rest of the time I would hide in the sea. Elder, how do you know so clearly? Suchin was a little puzzled. He could tell that the stooped old man was just an ordinary person. How would an ordinary person dare to observe the daily routine of a level 5 sea demon beast? The old man explained, not far from the beach, there is a forest. Every day, we would go there to collect some wild fruits and vegetables. Over time, we learned more about the sea beast. Suchin nodded and asked, after the zombies here were defeated, where did they go? The old man shook his head. Zombies were the enemy of human beings. Who would go back to find out the whereabouts of the zombies? Seeing this, Suchin didn't ask any more questions. Although he didn't find the whereabouts of the zombies, he learned about the existence of a level 5 sea demon beast. This trip was not a loss. Elder, thank you for your information. These things are for you. Suchin took out some food and a dozen energy stones from his storage bag and gave them to the old man. He then turned and left. Chapter 265. Looking at the food and energy stones in his hand, the old man was pleasantly surprised. These things were not worth mentioning to Suchin, but to him, it was no different from a huge fortune. Just as the old man was about to thank Suchin, he realized that Suchin was nowhere to be seen. What a fast speed! Could he be an evolver? The hunchbacked old man muttered. As soon as Suchin returned to the intelligent war chariot, Chao Ran and the other two came up to him with smiles on their faces. Chingu, did you find any traces of zombies? They had not killed any zombies for a few days, and the three of them were bored. Suchin shook his head. The zombies in Black Rock City have all run away, and I don't know where they went. So we came here for nothing? Yang Hao sighed. It took them a few days to come here from Heaven Temple City, and although they had some gains, it was still limited. If they went to other places, they might have killed tens of thousands of zombies. It's not a wasted trip, Suchin said with a smile. Even if we can't kill zombies, we can kill sea beasts. In fact, killing sea beasts was more cost-effective than killing zombies. This was because after killing it, in addition to obtaining energy stones and fragments, the sea monster's meat could also be eaten. Hearing that they were going to kill sea beasts, Yang Hao and the other two's eyes lit up. Even Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian were interested. Suchin, are we going to the Forgotten Worries Sea to kill sea beasts? Wu Yang asked. Sea beasts, as the name suggested, lived in the sea, and the Forgotten Worries Sea was the closest to them. The sea beasts in the Forgotten Worries Sea must be killed, but before that, let's kill a level 5 giant turtle first, Suchin said. Level 5 sea beasts were hard to come by, and a level 5 energy stone was priceless, and there was also a lot of meat to eat. Since they had encountered one, they could not let go of this opportunity. Level 5 sea demon beast. Hearing this, everyone's faces were filled with fear. Although their strength had greatly increased, facing a level 5 sea demon beast, they would probably be killed in one move. However, when they thought about how Suchin could easily kill a level 5 mutated tribe member, it shouldn't be a problem for him to kill a sea demon beast of the same level. Chingu, when are we going to make our move? Shi Dainyu approached Suchin and asked. In his opinion, if Suchin wanted to kill that giant tortoise, he would definitely be able to. After that, Wouldn't he be able to have a full meal? 1,000-year tortoise and a 10,000-year tortoise. A giant tortoise that could reach level 5 must have lived for a long time, and its nutritional value must be very high. Boiling soup, roasting meat, that taste, sure Daniel's imagination began to run wild. He couldn't wait to hunt that level 5 giant tortoise. Suchin knew what Daniel was thinking. He smiled and said, "Let's rest here today and hunt tomorrow afternoon." The level 5 giant tortoise would only come out at noon, and it was already close to evening, so they could only wait until tomorrow. After that, Suchin took out the universal oven and the 2 mutated beasts and asked Yang how to prepare dinner. He walked to the central control screen and looked at it. Soon he saw a large number of red dots appear on the central control screen, and they were located at the Daylily Ocean. The hunchbacked old man had said before that there were millions of sea demons in the Daylily Ocean. This number might be an exaggeration, but there were more than 100,000. Facing so many sea demons, Suchin was naturally tempted. However, if he wanted to hunt sea demons, he had to enter the Daylily Ocean. He had never experienced this before, and he didn't know how to enter the ocean to hunt. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.